here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, cpapsetc.com.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 3 p.m. hour is presented by First Liberty Building and Loan.
People still need rescuing from Hurricane Helene. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Days after the Florida landfall, some communities are cut off by floodwaters, with North Carolina especially hard hit. Fox's Steve Harrigan in Asheville.
The mayor here says the city is still in an active crisis. She said one of the biggest problems is the fact that 3 out of the 4 main highways that come in and out of Asheville have been washed out. She says they need everything, the basics, food, water, electric power, cell phone service. And many people say because of the damaging nature of this storm, it's gotten tough to even recognize their own hometown.
More than 120 dead in 6 states, hundreds unaccounted for. President Biden pledging federal help for as long as it takes. Former President Trump meeting with storm survivors.
We are going to be with you as long as you need it. It's called an hour of need. You're in our prayers.
Visiting Valdosta, Georgia, and adding that when a crisis hits, politics doesn't matter. Though he did criticize President Biden, saying Georgia's governor hadn't been able to reach him. The White House said last night President Biden had spoken to multiple officials, including Georgia's governor. More U.S. forces heading to the Middle East as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah escalates.
The Pentagon says the U.S. is sending a few thousand more troops and squadrons of fighter jets to the Middle East to protect U.S. forces and defend Israel if necessary. Israel launching small ground raids against Hezbollah as it prepares for a larger ground operation in Lebanon to clear out Hezbollah infrastructure near Israeli border communities.
I'm more aware than you might know, and I'm comfortable with them stopping. We should have a ceasefire now.
President Biden responding when asked if he was aware of Israel's plans. The State Department says it still supports a ceasefire in Lebanon, but at the same time, military pressure can at times enable diplomacy.
Fox's Christian Goodwin. Israel's been targeting Hezbollah leaders with airstrikes. Health officials say many civilians have been killed, injured, and displaced. America is listening to Fox.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
Look out. Here we go. It's Monday, and it's Braves Day, and it's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls. It's Flounder, and it's playoff time. He's looking like it anyway. We'll have the very latest from the ballpark here at the Battery. And hope you all had a good weekend. A lot of things going on, including some comedy stuff. We have more storm stuff. In fact, honest to goodness, I was just telling Pete before the show started. It's almost this morning. It's almost like we got a brand new storm. Like it started all over again. I mean, seriously, there are pictures of flooded towns and the interstates are closed. North Carolina's gone. I mean, geez. Anyway, honestly, I feel kind of bad because I had sort of stopped feeling bad about the storm, and all of a sudden, like by Saturday night or Sunday, and all of a sudden, oh my God, it hit again. Oh my God, I had no idea. Of course, part of that was because I didn't have any TV to watch the news coverage, and there's nothing on radio. Is all talk shows and stuff, which doesn't do with storm. Anyway, whatever. So we'll have the latest on that, including President Stupid Face making another fool of himself.
Now you have something in common with President Biden because he didn't know what was going on there either.
Exactly. I was going to say, this is just, and again, how come? Remember was it Katrina and and W. Bush. Boy, the Democrats and the media couldn't wait to criticize it. Well, flying over the here, oh my, remember all the stuff?
He hates black people.
Oh my God, he didn't want to come to the store.
Yeah.
Damn it.
There's also a picture of Kamala Harris on an airplane wearing headphones that are not plugged into her phone, staring at a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, just to avoid talking to the press. Just God. Anyway, so we got a whole bunch of stuff like that. Also, we got the Braves things going on. First of all, okay, just a kind of an update. Pete Davis weekend, exciting news of any kind over the weekend was obviously football time and Braves games. But yeah.
Well, a lot of great games, especially in the SEC. Amazing games, same thing. One, I saw the sun for the first time in a week this morning. It's gone now, but I had not seen the sun in a week. I mean, that's how amazingly cloudy and stormy it's been. And two, have you heard about this crazy clown? Have you seen this crazy clown in Alpharetta where you live?
Yeah.
Who's going around in businesses hiding from ugly people and scaring them?
No, I haven't. I have not seen the guy hiding from ugly people. I haven't seen the guy hiding from ugly people.
You haven't seen the clown?
I haven't seen the clown hiding from ugly people. I guess maybe because I'm ugly. Oh, yeah. I didn't see the guy. I guess he's hiding from all the ugly people.
Well, if you see him, tell me.
Yeah, he's right over here. Yeah, he's right over here. Here he is, right over here. Yeah. And
it's like my mom said, there's always that one person who's weird on the bus you ride, but I never saw him or met him when I was on there.
It's like if you don't know who the sucker is at a poker game, it's you. So,
look around.
That's right. And it's always me, by the way, which is why I don't play cards. I don't play poker. I always lose. There's no matter what, I could go all in or never bet anything, whatever. No, it doesn't matter. I don't get the cards, and if you don't get the cards, you can't play. And you can bluff so many times, and then anyway. So I don't play. I don't gamble. Anyway, Flounder, weekend activity. Anything you want to share with anybody? Or
me and Veronica are in the process of purchasing a home.
Bum biddy bum bum boom bum boom. Holy smokes!
What a perfect time to do it.
Oh man, I mean,
wow, it's all timing.
Well,
good Lord.
I mean, on the other hand, I mean, obviously you're youngish couple, and so this is. I mean, you got to do something.
This is what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the other point is at some point now, at my age, I'll never buy anything again the rest of my life. I mean, no one's going to give me a loan for anything. But clearly, at your stage of life, you either have to decide: do I make an investment, take a chance on the economy and the future and real estate and everything else, or just keep renting without any kind of equity?
One of the things, again, we went a little bit over our original budget, but we also wanted to find a place where you're going to have a good resale value, and we're not even half a mile from downtown Roswell, which is a nice area.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things we were looking at, because we could have found something cheaper, but you're risking it by the area you're in.
Believe me, it's those.
But Alpharetta, Old Milton Parkway, Roswell, all those areas. It's just that's where a lot of people are going because it's a nice area. It's nice and safe.
Yep. And again, and now you have all that's where I live. I love renting those places. Anyway, but it's pretty exciting, and obviously, you're gonna. Oh man, I'm remembering.
Yeah, yesterday we went to a furniture store. Holy crap!
Oh yeah, good luck.
Hey, when have you got a lawnmower yet?
Since when do couches cost $8,000? Wait, what the hell is it? My God, I mean, actually, and I can't even imagine shopping for stuff now. Lawnmower. In fact, talk about lawnmowers and cars. Oh my God. I mean, I remember I bought my first riding lawnmower. I was pretty damn proud of that as a homeowner. I can tell you.
Well, the other thing is you can almost, instead of doing that, you get someone to do it for you, and you're not going to pay over the lawn. I mean,
hiring somebody to take care of all.
Because I mean, we can get apparently the guy who we're buying from, he has a lawn guy, and it's $40.
Yeah. Well, there you are.
That's not a bad. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, if you get a home, you kind of want to take ownership of your yard.
Yeah,
that's one thing you kind of want to.
It becomes real when you get the lawnmower.
I used to love to do my own yard. I planted all my own flowers.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So we're excited.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for you. And again, I'm real happy for you. I think that's great, exciting and scary. And but hell, you're on the right track, and you got a great girl, so you're in.
So she drug you furniture shopping, so you got to drag her lawnmower shopping. It works out both ways.
Anyway, that's pretty exciting. 309. Here's the phone number. I'd love for you to join us. We'll get a Braves update here in a second. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. And the Braves, but it's a doubleheader today. And the Braves, what are we like in the 7th or 8th inning? Peter, I don't know if you can monitor it where you are.
So we're the top of the 8th. New York is up to bat. They just got a double, so there's a man on with no outs.
But we're still leading, I think, right?
Yes, it's 3-0.
3-0 Braves. Now, Pete, as I understand it, if the Braves, if either the Braves or Mets win one game, then they're in the playoffs. So if
the Mets win, they're in. If the Braves win game 1, they're in.
Right. Now, if either team loses both, then they're out, and it's Arizona and whoever won the first game. So if now the Braves win this game, then they're in the playoffs. And it doesn't really, for their benefit, it doesn't really matter whether they win the second game, but it sure as hell matters to the Mets. If the Mets win the second game, then they would still be in.
Mets out again.
Oh, I agree. I agree, but still.
It probably doesn't happen. You don't sweep doubleheaders very often.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, if the Mets win game 2, then they would still be in the playoffs, correct? And Arizona would be out. Okay. So obviously the Mets have a lot more riding on game 2 than the Braves do. Although it's still be nice. I don't know if you'd rather play the Mets or the Arizona Diamondbacks, though. I mean, who'd you rather play in the playoffs?
Diamondbacks.
Would you? Okay.
But we wouldn't have to because we'd probably be playing either the Padres or Dodgers.
Yeah. Okay. Again, see, I get lost. I'm totally lost in how I figure this stuff out. But luckily, that's why we have a sports department. His name is Pete Davis right here. Anyway, so go Braves, and if they win today, the game it's 8th inning, and they're leading 3-0, so that's a good sign. Okay, let's see, 404-741-1230. A couple of quick passing notes. Hall of Famer, no. Dikembe Mutombo has passed away from brain cancer that affected him a little while ago. He was only 58 years old. Grew up in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Selected in the Denver Nuggets, 4th overall pick by the Nuggets in the 1991 draft. He was 21 years old. Played for the Nuggets, the Hawks, 76ers, Nets, Knicks, and Rockets. Retired in 2009, 7 feet 2 inches. One of the great shot blockers. Him do that. No. And even he did his own shoe deal with Adidas, and rivaled Nike and Michael Jordan. And in one commercial, he said, "Man does not fly in the house of Mutombo." No. About Michael Jordan flying. Anyway, now Pete, I never met him or knew him. Do you have any personal recollections and so forth? Did you ever have much to do with him? Probably not.
Very nice man and a great ambassador for the sport, not only here but in Africa and around the world. He was an NBA ambassador and just was a great guy. Did a lot for the Congo. Did a lot for his people back in Africa and just for people everywhere. He
did school systems and hospital. I mean, he took care of communities. I mean,
smart man.
Over, yeah.
Smart man.
And he was diagnosed with brain cancer. He was only Dikembe Mutombo, only 58 years old. And boy, there's a lot to talk about with another guy who had giant in the music industry that I still don't think people really appreciate as much as some of us do. I'm going to read one quick line here. And I just got the biggest kick out of this one song verse. Busted flat in Baton Rouge, waiting for a train when I was feeling near as faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed a diesel down just before it rained that rode us all the way to New Orleans. He wrote that song, me and Bobby McGee, and there's a good story behind what it actually should have been, and his relationship with Janis Joplin, and he didn't even know that she had changed the lyrics until he heard it for the first time after she was dead. He also married Rita Coolidge. That lasted for a little bit. Anyway, Chris Christopherson passed away at 88. He was an airborne graduate, Ranger School, flight school, captain in the Army. volunteered for Vietnam, but they transferred him to go be a professor of English literature at the military academy at West Point. So he said, screw this, resigned his commission and became a singer-songwriter, and he'd already published a couple of books. I mean, what a story. Chris Christopherson, 88 years old. All right, it's all coming up. Also, I'm going to salute Saturday Night Live. When the liberal left does something you need to point out, we're going to salute him. We're going to play it every hour or two. Coming up, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 314. Happy Monday. Go Braves, 106.3. Look out, here we go.
Hey, it's Tug. The Morning Extra has you covered from 6 to 10, and Kimmer's got you on the ride home.
You know that stupid idea she has of the unrealized capital gain?
Oh, my God. Tell that story.
Your mom purchased her home 40 years ago, paid $50,000 for it, all paid off, which is great because mom is living on a fixed income. It's now worth $500,000. Kamala wants her to pay 25% of that gain, even though she has no plans on selling her home. Now, mom has to take out a $112,000 loan on the home to pay the 25% Kamala unrealized capital gain. Mom cannot afford that loan on her fixed income with rising inflation, so she loses the home she raised her family in and worked so hard to pay off. But don't worry, a big corporation will come in and buy her home and rent it back to her. They said you will own nothing and be happy. Do you now see how they will accomplish that? Drain your savings and tax you out of your home. Capital gains will also apply to your 401, etc. Do a lot of thinking before you elect this woman.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
When it rains, it pours. It's not a matter of if it's going to storm, it's when. Hi, this is Candace with Excavations, and have I got a tip for you? There are only a few things you can be certain of living in Georgia. The weather is absolutely uncertain. Storms are coming, and with that, the storm chasers blew in. You know, the ones that show up, canvass your neighborhood for a free inspection, make deals that are too good to be true, tell you all the neighbors are doing it, and then once they're done, they're gone like the wind. Everyone says they offer a lifetime warranty, but it only lasts as long as the company's in town. At Excavations, we will install your roof on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction, which means we stand behind our warranties. We provide you with written documentation, and we will be here to weather the next storm. So let it rain. We've got you covered. Visit excavations.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Are you looking for something simple but delicious, sweet but also savory? Discover Schumann Farms Sweet Onions. Schumann Farms is a third-generation family farm with the Real Sweet brand and Mr. Buck's brand sweet onions. Each brand brings savory, sweet deliciousness to every meal. Whether you're grilling, sautéing, or simply adding a fresh crunch to your salad, Schumann Farms has you covered. Look for Schumann Farms Real Sweet brand and your Mr. Buck's brand sweet onions at your grocery store and taste the difference for yourself. Schumann Farms, the Georgia family farm growing tradition and the world's sweetest onions.
My fellow Americans, our yards are in troubled times. Unwanted weeds are crossing fence lines across our great nation, and we need to put a stop to it. No more college football Saturdays spent mowing the lawn. No, sir. Let's turf it with ultra-premium artificial grass from ATL Turf Co. They're Atlanta and North Georgia's first choice for premium turf solutions, from incredible lawns to custom putting greens. Let's make your yard great again with a free consultation at atlturfco.com.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax rate.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70.
Chicks love these ginger singers for some reason. Ed Sheeran.
Baby, my heart could still fall less hard at 23.
319, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder with Ed Sheeran, who on this day 2 years ago was ordered to stand trial in America over claims he copied his song Thinking Out Loud from Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. A judge threw out his bid to dismiss the case, saying a jury should decide the similarities. It was originally lodged in 2018 by an investment banker and a company called Structured Asset Sales, which acquired a portion of the estate of the guy who wrote Let's Get It On. Geez, so they wanted $100 million in damages, saying that they copied and exploited the thing without, I don't know, I can't remember whether he won or not. It doesn't say here, so I don't know. Anyway,
Ed Sheeran won the case.
Ed Sheeran won.
It went on for like 7 or 8 years.
Wow, oh, my goodness. 320, Kevin, Pete, and Flounder. To the phones, take priority. It's Adam from Sandy Springs of the Sandy Springs Adamses. Hello, Adam. How you doing? What's going on?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. Semper Fi. I just want to say two things. Basically, with the hurricane damage and as well as the Middle East, where's Joe and Kamala? It seems like Trump is the only one who's actually made the effort to go to Valdosta today. And World War III could break out at any time, and our president is on vacation.
In fact, Flounder, do you have that? This is really some bad audio, but Adam, since you brought it up, in fact, I'm going to tell you a story here in a second about President Stupid Face getting all testy with reporters who asked him that very question. But also, this is how dumb this idiot is. He was getting on on an Air Force One or on the helicopter or something just a little while ago, and Flounder, as I understand it, a girl was asking President Crime Family about the airstrikes in Lebanon. And she said, how about those strikes in Lebanon? And he apparently didn't know what she was talking about and thought she was talking about automobile companies going on strike or something. So here's the audio. It's a little hard to understand, but that's how much of a clueless idiot this guy is.
Any comment on the strikes in Yemen, Mr. President?
Strikes in Yemen. Well, you wanted to get both sides together. I mean, he had no idea what he was talking about. Had absolutely no idea what he was talking about. And Adam, also today, are you still with me, by the way? I can't hear anything. Is Adam still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Today, they asked him about it. Oops, today's I got Mr. Phone here. He was talking about the hurricane response today and said, I'm going to go to some of those areas, but not right now, and he started coughing a lot. He grew defensive when a reporter said, who was in command over the weekend directing all the stuff? And it happened when he concluded his remarks, was about to leave the Roosevelt room, and said, Mr. President, why aren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend? And Biden says, I was commanding it, he retorted from the doorway. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I commanded. It's called a telephone and all my security people. And then he turned again. The reporter said, is it not important for the country to see that? And he left in the middle of the question.
And one last thing, there could be a port strike tomorrow, which could affect the economy to the tens of billions of dollars a day.
Yeah, it'd be at least $5 billion a day, and anything you need that comes through a port, which is pretty much everything, is going to be messed up. And by the way, God knows what's going to happen to perishable things or things that are on a time limit for whatever reason. And again, and he's staying out of it. The last I heard, he's staying out of it. So, Adam, thanks.
Guys.
Appreciate it, Adam. 323, Scotty, the window guy, I think might still be hanging with. Hello, Scotty, on the radio.
Hey, Semper Fi, welcome home. Shout out to YouTube Mafia, as usual.
There you go.
Adam kind of stole my win. That's kind of what I was going to talk about, that Trump in Valdosta, he's got 4 tractor-trailer loads of supplies for people in need, and then he's got 2 or 3 gas tankers that are coming down there. Why hasn't Biden done it? I mean, we all know that, but that was kind of my thing. And he said, I was on the phone for 2 hours, 2 days in a row.
Yeah,
so
and he said,
2 hours a day.
Yeah, he also said, well, I'm going to go to those areas, but I don't want to be a distraction. So, and of course, every time George W. Bush or anybody else said something like that, the media immediately just creamed these people. And of course, they're being very gentle with this administration. It's unbelievable. So.
Oh, well, Semper Fi, my brother, and shout
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, 324, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. I do not want to neglect the folks who are waiting for me to give the birthday list today. Includes that naughty little Marion Cotillard. Well, we
I was about to walk out.
No, you want to hear Marion Cotillard. Is that how you pronounce it? Cotillard? Cotillard is how you pronounce her, I believe. She's
Cotillard.
a French, 49 years old, that French chick who won Best Actress Oscar for the movie La Vie en Rose. Never heard of it. She was
She's famous for her laugh.
No, I did not know that.
Flounder.
Flounder, famous for her laugh. Marion Cotillard, the French actress. Famous, he's not in the room. She played Mal in Inception, Dr. Leonardo Arantes in Contagion, Miranda Tate in The Dark Knight Rises, and also the little hottie with Johnny Depp in Public Enemies. His girlfriend, she's a dish. Marion Cotillard is 49 years old today. And we're going to play the Saturday Night Live thing here in a second, Flounder. First, one quick historical note. On this day, 1962, James Meredith, a black Air Force veteran, shows up at Ole Miss after suing for the right to be admitted 2 years earlier. He showed up to go to school. The Democrats on campus started rioting to protest black people, thinking they can go to college with Democrat white guys, but they said, by the way, thanks for keep voting for us. But they black-hating white Democrats overpowered 120 cops. By morning, 2 people were dead. Dozens were shot, wounded, and hurt. Meredith did register the next day, and James Meredith did graduate from Ole Miss a few years later. Yeah. And all was
comes to he used to come to football games. He's up there in age now. If he's still with us, I don't know if he's still comes.
I should have looked that up with you because that was 60 years ago.
As I pointed out a couple weeks ago in that famous Life magazine photo, my great uncle is one of the sheriffs standing there. Proud moment for the family.
He's not the one turning the water hose on the guy, though.
Hey, I don't know if you saw this over the weekend, but there was a video coming out of somewhere in Mississippi showing a school bus of kids, and the whole school bus is black kids. There's one white kid on that bus, and they beat him to a pulp.
No, my God.
No, it hasn't made national news. Now imagine, in Mississippi, if it was a black kid on a white bus that was beaten half to death by the black kids, and the bus driver didn't do anything about it, how far into the national reports would we hear the phrase Emmett Till?
Yeah. Well, in fact, funny you should mention, Pete, because I didn't bring it in, but on the front page of the living section of it might have been the news. It was on one of the front pages of one of the sections of the Al Jazeera Constipation this morning. In fact, was a big picture, a photograph, and a big story on the new author of a book called something like The Shed or The Garage or something like some name of a part of a building. And it was about the death of Emmett Till. I swear to God.
Oh, yeah. Still making money off of him, though. That corpse still has got a lot of money in it.
The latest information on the updated Emmett Till's
the Atlanta History Center did a whole evening about it. So making money off the corpse of Emmett Till. But a white kid can be beaten half to death by a bus full of black kids in Mississippi, showing how much things have changed because in 70 years, that wouldn't have happened 70 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned on Friday. Let's do this. I haven't watched Saturday Night Live honestly in decades. I mean, literally in decades. And last Saturday night, this past weekend, they had Wilma. What's her name? Maya Rudolph, not Wilma. Maya Rudolph, and that little kid punky.
Gene Smart.
No. The guy was in the Sell Your Daddy's Business with the fat kid who died. David Spade. And they were doing their takeoffs on Carmela Sidepiece and President Stupid Face, and on Saturday Night Live, I think it's important that we salute the left, the MAGA Trump hating members of the leftist media. But Saturday Night Live, at least for a couple of minutes, got it right. Flounder, this is them making fun of the current administration on Saturday Night Live over the weekend.
Hey, listen up, everyone. We couldn't have gotten here without one man. and his name is Joe Biden. Get on out here, Joe Biden.
Folks, that's right. A lot of people forget I'm president, including me. But guess what? And by the way, I think I did a pretty good job. I passed more bills than any president in history. But folks, we still got work to do, no joke. I'm being serious right now. Come on. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, the rich don't pay their fair share. They gotta pay the fair share. We gotta build back better. The build back the better, the better, the better. Build back the better. Can't believe it's not butter.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for putting country first and for handing over the reins.
I didn't want to. They made me. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, no joke. This is serious right now. I mean, it's serious. Anyway, in conclusion, me and Vice President Harris are the same.
Oh, okay. Ha. Great stuff. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
all right. Goodbye, Joe. Goodbye,
Joe Biden. Once in a while, they get it fairly close to it. At least that was fairly amusing. And again, maybe it's a sign. We'll see. Probably not.
Braves are blowing it.
Oh, no.
Big time.
Oh, my God. All right, we'll have the latest update, 3:30, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Oh, God. Here we go. All right, look out. Oh,
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
All right, there we go. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. How you doing? 3:31. We'll get the latest on the Braves. So please, come on, you guys. It's almost anyway. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Keep us safe, boy. If they could have Jeff and Mark and the gang at Atlanta Safe House, just put kind of a little barrier around the Braves when we get into those playoffs. Everything will be fine. They can darn near protect everything else. So at Atlanta Safe House. In fact, there's always something going on. Specials. They have summer safe specials. They have the fall gun safe specials. In fact, I keep telling. I remind you, those big, beautiful gun safes have the little dial on them, and they feel like a banker just switch and going to 32 left, 42 right, stuff like that. But they're not just big, empty cases of metal. They have shelving units and nooks and crannies, and they can design anything you want. Put them in there any way you want it. The pistol safes the same way. They're just beautiful, by the way, and always on sale. You'll save hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And for the rest of the year, this is important, every safe you buy at Atlanta Safe House, the rest of the year, they'll pay the sales tax. You don't have to pay the sales tax for the rest of the year. Just kind of another little thank you. They have all the top brand names, Browning, Fort Knox, American Security. And like they did for me, they can bolt them from the inside right into your concrete floor of your basement or garage or game room or whatever. And by the way, they have the best delivery team in Georgia. They only trust off-duty police, firefighters, and military to deliver your safes to you where your home or office or wherever, because you can trust those people in your house. Please tell them the Kimmer Safe. They have a showroom in Ackworth up on Industrial Boulevard. They love for you to just stop in and say howdy and see what's going on. Please tell them the Kimmer sent you and look them up on the web, atlantasafehouse.com.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
Extra 106.3 listeners are falling in love with Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell.
Me and my wife now find our favorite sandwich place. That food over there was great.
Yeah, those rolls are so soft and sweet. I mean, it was just melt in your mouth. It was, and the steak was tender and juicy and flavorful. I can't say enough about it. It was very, very impressive.
It was so good.
Make Nucky's Hoagies in Roswell on Woodstock Road your new favorite spot for lunch or dinner. Nucky'sHoagies.com.
One of the hardest things to do is to walk away from a paycheck. As retirement planners, Masterplan knows how hard it can be to pull the trigger on your own retirement. Don't go it alone. Masterplan is a holistic retirement planning firm that works with you to create a retirement plan to help maximize your golden years. Through income planning and money management, legacy planning, and tax planning, we create a plan specifically designed for your life. Enter retirement with confidence. Contact Masterplan to analyze your retirement outlook and create a plan that's right for you. All initial consultations are complimentary, so contact us today and begin your pursuit towards peace of mind. Visit masterplanretire.com. Masterplan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Masterplan Retirement Consultants Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates Inc., DBA Masterplan Retirement Consulting. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
When storms wreak havoc on your home, who do you trust to make things right? Look no further than Southern Exteriors. Hey, it's Tug. With over 25 years experience, they understand the urgency of storm damage. They offer emergency response and free estimates to assess the situation and get your home back on track. Southern Exteriors is committed to your home's long-term well-being. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, windows, or doors, they have the expertise to handle it all. Call 877-9-SOUTHERN or visit southernexteriors.co. southernexteriors.co. Southern Exteriors, restoring peace of mind one storm at a time.
Fooey. Foo Fighters. How you doing? Look out, 3:36. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Update on the Braves game there. 2007, Foo Fighters went to #1 in Britain with Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace. It was the Foo Fighters' 6th studio album, 2nd British #1, nominated for 5 Grammys, including at 1 Best Rock Album. Foo Fighters 2007 also awarded the Brit Award of Best International Album. Okay. Our birthday list, couple of oldies in the news. Sissy Houston. Whitney Houston's mother and Bobby Christina's grandmother. Sissy Houston is 91 years old today. And Angie Dickinson, holy cow. Policewoman, Ocean's 11, Dressed to Kill, Point Blank of the Lee Marvin movie, Rio Bravo. Angie Dickinson, who insured her legs for $1 million back in the 50s, I believe. Angie Dickinson is 93 years old. Holy smokes. I don't know why I just get a kick out of saying that. And let's see, one thing in history here. Oh, yeah, 2003. A rapper named C. Murder was on trial for killing a 16-year-old kid who sneaked into a nightclub and then schooled him in a freestyle rap contest. The conviction was later overturned. He was retried and reconvicted again, now serving life. The guy's name is C. Murder. So I can imagine now you got him on the stand and can I give you a name for the court, please? Yeah, C. Murder. C. Murder is your name, sir? Your Honor, we're ready to go ahead and rule on this case. Holy crap. Anyway, give me a break. C. Murder. 338, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. Excuse me. Donald Trump was in Valdosta this afternoon. He brought tanker trucks filled with stuff, and he's helping out the people and everybody. I'm telling you, if you don't remember when Katrina hit and when George W. Bush was president, boy, the Democrat media couldn't stop pounding on him for not doing anything. And now our president basically turns his back on everybody, says, well, I was on the phone, I was on the phone for like 2 hours this weekend. Oh, my God. Does not realize how stupid that sounds? It's called, I was on the phone. Do I have I had the quote here somewhere. It's in my phone. I can't find it. Anyway, he got all testy about the fact that he was on the phone. And incidentally, this Hurricane Helene, holy cow, I had no idea it was this bad. This morning, all of a sudden, half of North Carolina is shut down. All the interstates anywhere around that area, Tennessee to North Carolina, are gone.
They're washed out.
Yeah, you can't drive anywhere. I mean, honestly, it was like, holy cow, it started all over again.
Imagine coming around a corner, I don't know if it's day or night, and the highway's gone in front of you, and there's a river there.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's this seems worse than when the thing hit last week.
Well, guess what? Ingalls is not accepting debit or credit cards, cash only, because their Asheville headquarters was basically flooded. So they can only, all the Ingalls stores in the Southeast, only cash.
Well, they can't work anything electronically. I mean, they can't
deliveries or the pharmacy, stuff like that. Their pharmacy's messed up.
And in Tennessee, I mean, again, just horrific problems and destruction, devastation. And this freaking figures. Again, talk about the open border policy. 8 immigrants taken into custody over the weekend for looting the flood-ravaged sections of Tennessee, Washington County. Is severely affected by the catastrophic flooding. 8 individuals, 5 accused also of aggravated burglary, breaking into occupied structures. They are still sheriff's deputies on patrol, trying to keep the flood zones safe and stop any more looting and guaranteeing some public safety. But these guys' last names are Vega Rapallo, Martinez Lopez, Hernandez Martinez, Rapallo, Guineda, Ortiz Valdez. Oh, you got 2 brothers. I'll be darned. A 33-year-old and a 30-year-old brothers. I'll be darned. Well, at least they stuck together. I mean,
think of the balls to come into a country and go to the most rural place where everybody has a gun and there's a natural disaster, and you think, well, now's my time to take advantage and loot.
I mean,
they're lucky to be alive.
Yeah. If there's God,
shoot on sight. Looters should be shot on sight.
You know, I remember. I'm trying to remember when that was. When the looters should be shot on sight. When that first hit the media. I remember when that. I can't remember what hurricane it was.
Andrew, maybe, in Homestead?
Yeah, might have been. And it was a couple of Florida sheriffs said...
Katrina.
Yeah, Katrina, too. Yeah. Incidentally, more about the administration and crowds and stuff like this. Over the weekend, Michigan football fans were booing False Walsh when he showed up at the Michigan football game against Minnesota over the weekend. He was making his way into, quote, the big house in Ann Arbor. A large group of fans erupted into loud boos and jeers. One fan could be heard yelling, "Get out of here." Another referred to False Walsh, the tampon Tim, as a communist. And while he was hardly recognized, he did give the bird to one guy who called him out and started yelling Trump in 24, and he flipped him the bird. Walsh flipped him the bird. Donald Trump, by the way, received a very strong, enthusiastic response from the crowd in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for the Georgia-Alabama game, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on here. He was greeted by a large group of students packed in around him when they put his shot up on the screen. And by the way, the press said, well, mixed reaction to Donald Trump showing up in that. My ass, mixed reaction. They loved it. Just for the record. But again, he took time to mingle with the crowd and was tossing popcorn to the people. They all were USA 4 more years and stuff like that. So kind of the difference of False Walsh again. Oh, and by the way, coming up, in fact, I'll tell you, I'm going to get to that in a second. First of all, I'm going to talk sports. What's going on with the Braves? They were leading 3-0 in the 8th inning, and all of a sudden now, this first game of a doubleheader determine if they're going to the playoffs. So what's going on?
6 runs. They gave up 6 runs. No. Joe Jimenez, who looked like ass a couple of days ago when he came in the rain, so it's the rain. He can't find the plate. He walked like 3 guys in a row, something like that, and he looked off. Well, he came in the 8th inning. Spencer Schwellenbach pitched 7 innings, 4-hit ball, gave up 1 run. Jimenez came in, 3 hits, 3 runs, got shelled. Raisel Iglesias came in after him, got shelled. They've waited to the last game of the season, the last day of the season to fall apart. The Jimenez and Iglesias here. Iglesias was perfect for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, so it's now 6-3.
Oh,
and 6-4, actually. The Braves have scored in the bottom of the 8th. It's 6-4.
And we got a man on 3rd and 1st with 2 outs.
Still in the 8th inning. That's been going on for a while. Holy crap. But at first, like 20 minutes ago, it was still in the 8th inning. It was 3-0
in the 8th inning, and they've blown a 3-0 lead. Now it's 6-4.
6-4 in the 8th inning.
And the problem is you let the Mets think that they've broken the curse, and they've broken the curse. It would have been great to have swept them today, but obviously it's going to be hard to do that.
Yeah.
But Jimenez, Jimenez is great in the regular season. Never really trusted him, and with the pressures on, the guy came up in the Tigers organization. He never pitched a pressure game in his life till he came to Atlanta. And frankly, I don't know if the numbers back it up, but just watching, I don't want him out there in a huge pressure situation. I just think he kind of falls apart.
It always goes back to our bullpen.
Well, again, all those years.
It was a good bullpen.
Yeah. Well, all those years we won all those division titles. It was pitching was the.
The bullpen. Jeff Reardon. I'd still like to find that guy.
That's right. Was he with Pittsburgh? Where did we get him from? Minnesota or someplace?
Boston.
He
had been shelled all year by the American League.
That's right.
And then they went out, and I'm not going to say who traded for him. But right up there with the Mark Teixeira trade.
Oh, mercy. All right, I want to get into the new masculinity in the form of the vice presidential candidate and also the second husband or the first, whatever his goof is. But for just a quick, again, Holy Crap at Sports coming up after 5 o'clock, but just as kind of a tease. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions watching that freaking Georgia-Alabama game. Holy criminy. Pete Davis, you want to give a little tease on what you were thinking about that stupid contest?
One of the greatest SEC games of all time. I mean, everyone liked when it's 28-0. Everyone thought, okay, this is over. This is going to be ugly. It's going to be like 50-7 or something. And Georgia came back and should have won that game. They had the lead there, and that 75-yard touchdown pass is like, what the hell happened here? Just a miracle thing. By the way, one more thing about the Braves.
Yeah.
The whole day, I get the updates from MLB.com. Not one peep about the Braves, basically. Not one little peep Mets on my phone. But when the Mets came back, OMG, exclamation point, Mets seize late lead, exclamation point. Mets get on the board in a big way, capital letters. Yeah, they got to.
Oh, my God.
Got to kiss ass to the New York crowd, don't you?
They've always hated Atlanta, and they're never going to change. And every chance they get, whether it's taking away the All-Star game or everything else, whatever they can do. Oh, man. That's all right. 3:46 already. Holy cow. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. The latest on the Braves game is going on now. It's a doubleheader today. On the latest on the new masculinity. Well, I'm not buying it. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder here on Monday. Look out. Here we go.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Tug, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Really, the lottery is a pure sucker's game. Listen to this. The poorest households in this country pay 33% more of their income on lottery tickets than the filthy, evil rich do.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Doug Moore is a health insurance broker at yourchoicehealthplan.net. He believes your health insurance premiums should not look like a mortgage payment. You don't have to overpay for health insurance. He sells private insurance with no deductibles and no rate increases. These plans are typically 30 to 60% less than what you're paying and don't need to change doctors. He customizes all plans to meet your budget. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net. He can save you big money. Call Doug Moore at 770-697-0100. That's 770-697-0100. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net. If your payment is too high, you're on COBRA, or your work coverage is too expensive, call Doug, 770-697-0100. You don't have to have government marketplace insurance that's crazy expensive. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net and request a quote. Call 770-697-0100 and let Doug design a plan for you, not by big government.
There are crazies on the road. Who knows where they're all going, but if one of them hits you, don't take care of it on your own. Call my friend David Van Sant. He is the lawyer that used to work for the insurance company. The team at Van Sant Law knows who to call, what to say, and will make sure you get what you deserve and what the insurance company doesn't want to pay for. They have your best interest at heart and will take care of everything. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid. My advice, save Van Sant Law in your phone. Today, 855-GA-INJURY, vansantlaw.com.
Old habits die hard. Old soldiers just fade away. Old habits.
Hey, before you do the music.
Yeah.
You want to talk an update for you.
All right.
So now it's 7-6 the Braves.
All right. It was 3-0 in the eighth inning. All of a sudden in the eighth inning, it was 6-3.
Albies hit a double that scored 3 runs.
Holy smoke. So now it's 7-6. Braves back on top, still in the eighth inning. And are they still banning?
Azuña just struck out, so we are
going to the ninth?
Yep, to close.
Okie doke. So we're going to the top of the ninth. And if we have a closer to shut them down, we win the game, and the Braves will be going to the postseason.
Is it? Well, Iglesias is out. Bummer finished the eighth.
So do you put him back in?
There.
Well,
no, please no.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll
I don't know
in a
what
minute.
you're going to do. Your closer just screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to do now.
Well, I wouldn't keep him in there.
So do you put a starter in to finish it?
No, Pierce Johnson may come in. I can see that, depending on what lefty-righty situation they got going. But this is one of the craziest last days of the season
this is
we've
unbelievable.
ever had.
We should simulcast 680. If they get 2 outs in the top of the ninth against them, we should simulcast 680.
Talk to them.
3:51 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Again, Braves are leading. We're going to the ninth inning, so that's a good sign.
This will kill Frank the Tank. His head will explode if the Mets blow this.
He will self-immolate.
He may die of a heart attack.
Yeah. Flounder, you want to go and start over with our, because you went through the trouble of getting the song. Mick Jagger, on this day, 2004, held a news conference with Dave Stewart in New York City to promote his new movie, Alfie, a remake of the 66 film with Joss Stone, Sheryl Crow, and Nadira Saeed, I don't know. The track Old Habits Die Hard from the soundtrack by Mick Jagger and David Stewart won the Golden Globe, Sierra Award, Soundtrack Awards, and all kinds of things. 2004. You ready? Our birthday list includes Johnny Mathis. Chances are wonderful. And he had some horribly sad. So, What Will Mary Say? Too Much, Too Little, Too Late with what Denise Williams, was it? Without Us, Chance. And by the way, Johnny Mathis is 89. And I never forget, back in the early, 72, 73, working for another radio station, and we used to do interviews with celebrities and then edit them up so the morning guy could pretend he was doing the interviews. And when Johnny Mathis came to town, he arranged to do a pre-recorded interview on audio tape by our assistant news director, who went to meet him at the hotel room where Johnny Mathis was staying. And he walks into the hotel room, and Johnny Mathis is basically naked, lying on a table, getting smeared in cold cream by some young attendant, doing his interview with Johnny Mathis, some young boy. Anyway. Oh, here's one quick medical thing here. It's kind of exciting because we get to mention something about a guy in Georgia. On this day in 1946, the first dentist to use ether, William Green Morton, from University of Massachusetts, used ether as a surgical anesthetic as a dentist for the first time in 1846. The anesthetic ether was used on the battlefield in the Mexican-American War from 1846 to 48. Ether was first made use as a general anesthetic by our own Dr. Crawford Williamson Long in March of 1842. So we give him credit as a general anesthetic, but a dentist used it for the first time in 46. Yes, sir.
By the way, a very subdued update from MLB.com this time when the Braves retook the lead.
No kidding.
It's a crazy game down in Atlanta. It's saying, no, oh my God, and exclamation points. The Mets are surging. None of that when the Braves go ahead.
I mean, they can't stop.
They're in New York. They're the most thin-skinned, miserable people on the planet.
Freaking brutal. Just brutal. 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And second gentleman, they call him, Doug Emhoff, who married that vice presidential side piece.
Yeah, Mehoff.
Yeah, Emhoff, Mehoff.
Brother Jack.
Mehoff. He was talking with the former White House liar Jen Psaki, who's now the MSNBC liar, on her show on Sunday. And she was saying, oh, golly, Mr. Emhoff, your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. Golly, I'm not sure you planned on that, but you were such an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? Do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman? And he said, well, I've been thinking about this a lot. It's kind of been like, my dad's been supportive, He taught me the right thing to do, support women. It's mutual with Carmela. Well, we support each other and we have each other's back, yes. And Jen Psaki says, gee, there's a pop culture phrase, wife guy, which you've been known as a wife guy. He said, well, if I do something to annoying Carmela and she gets upset, I'll show her that just that article, I'm kind of a wife guy. Well, they go on and on and on about this new pseudo-masculinity where you just do anything your wife says, apparently, and you're afraid to freaking challenge her. The modern female fantasy embodied by the man who might soon become our first gentleman, like Ryan Gosling, according to some of the liberal commentator girls. Dana Bash said that Walsh appeals to Walsh and Emhoff, false Walsh, Tampon Tim, appeal to voters who are not as masculine as Republican candidates. And maybe, you're not the testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy who listens to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players who go to the Republican convention. And by the way, hold on a second here because we have a little update on this. So here's all these people on MSNBC. Hold on a second. Give me my freaking phone back, you dirty stinking liar. Hold on a second. I got to do. I've got like 9 different.
You go out on the street and ask 1,000 people. Yeah. No one knows who this guy is.
Yeah. Women should not have less rights and be treated differently, says Emhoff, married to Carmela. It's not the American way, and some of the reactions are interesting. Commentator on X, for example. Gee, we're a serious news network and not propaganda, but hey, Doug, we're a difficult question. Have you reshaped masculinity? How does that make you feel? Hey, Jen Psaki thinks Doug Emhoff has reshaped the perception of masculinity. I can't help stop laughing. You fake media think that we're that stupid. Is having a baby out of wedlock with a nanny reshaping masculinity to the liberals? Let's not forget that story. Doug Emhoff cheated on his wife, Kirsten, with a babysitting nanny to their couple's daughter, who was 10 years old. So he was banging the nanny. When the wife discovered the affair in 2009, they got divorced. The girl got knocked up, the nanny got knocked up, and of course she had an abortion. Which is, and that's the modern thing. That's the way it should be. If your first husband married to a girl and you knock her up, get her an abortion, then you become maybe vice president of the United States. And he admitted, he says, well, during my first marriage, I went through some tough times on account of my actions. I took responsibility, and we've worked things through as a family. Stronger on the other side. I always come out stronger on the other side, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and of course,
moving on.
Yeah, and she says, well, no, he's a wonderful dad and a wonderful husband, so everything's fine by us. Holy crap. The same way that false Walsh is fine being a dirty, stinking, yellow-bellied, chicken-livered coward, a traitor to his country who lied about being at war for his own political benefit. He's such a weak character that he had to pretend to be somebody else to feel proud about himself. Good God. Flounder, how about a little Flounder's funny here before I lose my freaking mind?
What's the other thing people always tell you? You got to have a lot in common. If you're going to get married, you got to have a lot of similar interests. Garbage. Not true at all. Here's the thing. Similar interests are not what keep a marriage afloat. If you really want to stay together for a very, very long time, you don't have to have similar interests. Because they'll tell you, if your girlfriend is like a parasailer, they go, looks like somebody's going to learn how to parasail. No, you don't have to at all. You don't have to have similar interests to be happy together. You know what you have to have? Similar hates. Yeah. Similar hates. The couple that hates together loves together.
Who's that there, Flounder?
Mr. Jay Moore.
Jay Moore. Oh, that's Jay Moore, the actor guy.
Correct.
He did that, not Entourage. What was the one he did?
He was on Jerry Maguire. He was the guy that fired Jerry.
That's right, yeah. I mean, he's a pretty interesting guy.
Mets have regained the lead. It's 8-7.
Oh, dear God, you can't be serious. Oh, my God. So we're in the 9th inning. Well, here we go. Oh, man. It's coming up on 4 o'clock. Yeah, well, that's the difference between going all the way or going part way. That's exactly the difference. Coming up 4 o'clock, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and we'll have the latest on the Storm stuff and the Braves and everything else, too. 106.3. Look out.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Atlanta Safe House.
There may be hundreds more dead from Hurricane Helene. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
We honestly don't know the full extent of the damage. It probably will take several more days.
As debris is cleared, says Homeland Security Advisor Liz Sherwood-Randall, who also says there may be as many as 600 deaths. About that many are unaccounted for, with more than 120 people already known dead in 6 states. Some areas remain underwater and unreachable.
The western end of North Carolina, far from any coastline, is in crisis due to anticipated and unprecedented flooding.
We need people to not come here.
Lillian Govis with Buncombe County, which includes a devastated city of Asheville, to which all roads, including I-40.
That interstate is closed because the top of a mountain has actually slid down and covered that entire interstate.
Aid and relief workers have been transported in via helicopter. Search and rescue is still underway with help from crews from 19 states.
Fox's Evan Brown. President Biden pledging continued federal help, and he expects to visit affected areas later this week. Former President Trump visiting Georgia today, highlighting food and fuel deliveries and the work of nonprofit Samaritan's Purse. Vice President Harris cutting short a campaign trip out west. With thousands of port workers set to walk off the job tomorrow on the East Coast and Gulf Coast, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is urging President Biden to invoke his authority to block a strike. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the president is not considering that.
Senior officials from the White House, Labor Department, and Transportation Department are in touch with the parties to urge them to return to the table and negotiate in good faith towards an agreement that benefits all sides and do it fairly and quickly.
The International Longshoremen's Association in a stalemate with port operators largely over pay after the recent inflation surge. A mixed finish turns into a late rally on Wall Street. The Dow up about 17 points at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet. We can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
Little Elton John for you. I got it. 2003, Elton sold all the stuff in his London home and raised a couple of $1 million. An oil painting entitled Madison Square Park sold for about $70,000. An 18th or 19th century portrait of some lieutenant. No, I don't care. Painted by some guy named George Northcote in 1817 fetched $60,000. Sir Elton said he sold all the items so he could redecorate his home in London in a more modern style. So he sold it off, and good for you. Philadelphia Freedom there in the background. Elton John. Our birthday list includes Marilyn McCoo, 81 years old, a Fifth Dimension singer. Up and Away, Aquarius, Let the Sun Shine In. Let's see, Fran Drescher. Fran on The Nanny. She's in Living with Fran, the TV show Happily Divorced. And she might talk like them. She was also in that movie, the guys from Britain, the band from Britain, the satire of the guy who was in All in the Family. Not All in the Family. Yeah, All in the Family. Played the son, Archie Bunker.
The one with the face?
Yeah. the guy who played the son on Archie Bunker, and he was the director of the movie, of the band from England.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, yeah. And she was in Spinal Tap. She was in one of the girls in Spinal Tap. She was? Fran Drescher, 67. She was one of the girls when they had the meeting and said, your show's been canceled. And she was one of the women, and a girl in the room there. I remember very clearly. And on this day in, let's see, I was going to pick one here. Well, let's see. Here we go. 1966, not all the Nazi leaders were hanged. Albert Speer and Boldor von Schmierlach walked out of the Spandau prison after serving a full 20-year sentence. Albert Speer was Hitler's Minister of Armaments, and von Schmierlach was the founder of Hitler Youth.
Speer's diaries are a fascinating read.
I'll bet. I'd be afraid to order it or to take it out of the library or something. All right, Flounder's clapping his hands. What's going on, Flounder?
Why are you clapping your hands,
Hold on.
Flounder?
We got a base hit. We got a man on first with one out, 8-7.
Please. Don't talk to us unless a run scored. The bullpen of Jimenez, Iglesias, and Johnson have given up 7 runs in 2 innings.
2 innings, yeah.
When the rookie, those are the veterans, the grizzled veterans. The rookie, 7 innings, 1 earned run.
Yeah,
that is an embarrassing moment for the bullpen. Only Aaron Bummer pitched well.
Yeah. And again, the Braves are trailing with the guy on base in the 9th inning. And
we got an update from MLB.com. Oh, yeah, even bigger letters. OMG, amazing
Mets.
Francisco Lindor puts the Mets back in front with a clutch, all top, highlighted.
Cap letters,
clutch, 2-run homer, buckle up. But when the Braves went ahead in the bottom of the 8th, crickets.
Oh, man. Well, they hate us. They always will. They always have. 406, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Again, we got all the newsy stuff. We'll get to everything here in the storm and all the politics. And Donald Trump in Valdosta today trying to bring help to people while the administration ignores what's going on. Our number is 404-741-1230, 741-1230. And if you just joined us and haven't been around, see what's going on in the news, Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58. He had brain cancer, formerly a Hawks player and several different NBA teams, of course. He came to America when he was 21 years old, drafted by the Denver Nuggets in 1991. Had brain cancer, 7'2" center, no, wagging his finger when he blocked the shots and so forth. Did so much for countries in Africa for the local communities. Just a very well-known ambassador for not only the game of basketball, for just being a good person, apparently. 58 years old, brain cancer got him. And Chris Christopherson died at the age of 88. One of the great, in fact, Willie Nelson said he's probably the greatest songwriter of all time. The kudos are coming in from not only people in the industry, but all over the place. Chris Christopherson, he played the troubled rocker John Norman Howard in The Star is Born remake with Barbra Streisand. He won the Golden Globe in 1977 for that movie. He was in Blade, the trilogy, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, the last movie with Dennis Hopper, Sam Peckinpah's Billy the Kid. He was in Convoy. He was in Heaven's Gate, that big, huge flop. He got himself a convoy. He said he happened that his first professional gig was as a troubadour in L.A. opening for Linda Ronstadt. And they loved him, and the concert was held over for a week, and so all of a sudden his career took off. Chris Christopherson was a Golden Gloves boxer, played football in college, got a master's degree in English from Merton College at the University of Oxford in England. He turned down an appointment. He was joined the Army. He was given a commission as an officer. He became a captain. He was a military pilot, and he volunteered for Vietnam in 1965, but they turned him down and said, you're going to be teaching a class at the military academy at West Point, so he resigned his career. And his dad was a major general in the Air Force. The song Me and Bobby McGee, written after a recommendation from a friend of his about a guy and a woman on the road together watching a film called La Strada. Janis Joplin had a close relationship with him. We'll talk about that in a second. And she changed the lyrics to make the song about Bobby McGee, not Bobby McKee, and made it about the guy, not the girl. And let's see. They met Chris Christopherson and Janis Joplin met in 1970, fell for one another immediately. She died in October of that year, leaving Chris Christopherson unable to listen to the music that he had written without breaking down. They had a really off-again, on-again brutal relationship. She would threaten to go back on junk. She would talk about suicide. People are using her all over the place. She had a very troubled mental capacity there at the end. Let's see. It was only after she died that Christopherson realized she had sung his song and put it on her upcoming record, which left him overwhelmed in emotions. I didn't even know she had cut the record. He went to his producer's office and he said, I'm going to play this for you. He said, I had to leave the room. He eventually forced himself to listen to the song over and over again, Christopherson did, so he could get through it and not become overly emotional whenever he heard it in public. He married fellow songwriter Rita Coolidge in 1973, and they got divorced in 1980 when she found somebody. I get her, same old story. Anyway, Chris Christopherson dead at 88 years old. So that's a scoop there.
All right, Braves have lost 8-7 in the final.
There we are. Well, all right. Now, if the Braves lose the second game, it's over. Again, it's over. Right? If they lose the second game, they will not be going to the playoffs, or is there still a chance? Do you know?
They're out.
It's
they
over?
Lose.
Okay.
And so who's going to start in the second game of the
Sale. You better put Chris Sale in there. Somebody
if it's not Chris Sale and they lose, it's another Craig Kimball situation.
It's got to be.
He's got to pitch.
I mean, it's just the ball game. Go golfing. If they lose, they go golfing, right? I mean, that's the ball game.
If they don't pitch him, something's wrong, because you can't save him for game one of a non-existent playoff series if you don't win game two today.
Be in the playoff series.
And you've blown this one. You had a 3-0 lead in the eighth, and you blew it. You had a 7-6 lead in the ninth, and you blew it.
Yeah. 8-0.
The one guy you don't pitch to, Francisco Lindor, you hang something and he hits a 2-run homer to go ahead. There's two guys on that team you don't pitch to. One's Pete Alonso, and the other one's, especially with the game and season on the line, you do not give Francisco Lindor anything to hit. And the sucker, for the second time in the game, came through. Second time in 2 innings came through, and they gave him pitches to hit both times. So if they blow this, it's on them.
Well, yeah. Well,
And having said that, the fact that they're even in this position with all the injuries they've had this year from Sean Murphy, Ronald Acuna Jr., Spencer Strider, Alston Riley, Ozzie Albies, Michael Harris II, all the injuries they had, the fact that they're in this position is amazing.
Yeah, it is a
but
tribute.
It still would be heartbreaking to blow it a doubleheader because you don't lose both ends of a doubleheader except very rarely.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Now, if they win the second game, and I assume it's going to start, what are they, a couple-hour break? Is it going to be like a 6 o'clock game, or do we know?
40 minutes.
Oh, is that it? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's same ticket sales. So the people who bought tickets are staying for the second game.
Yeah. Wow. Well, so we'll know this afternoon. By the end of the show, we'll probably, well, maybe not, but we'll get a good idea as possible. Anyway. Well, go Braves. We're still fine. Again, Holy Crap at Sports coming up in an hour, and we'll have all the latest sports. And again, later, that freaking Georgia-Alabama game, and oh, my God, I mean, and it's back and forth, and you're thinking, oh, man, I mean, just what a game. I mean, what a game. And that freaking Alabama quarterback, boy, holy smokes.
Heisman Trophy.
What a performance. I had no idea.
Give him the Heisman.
What a performance.
So, what happened in the second half? Did Georgia's defense suddenly change what they're doing? Did Alabama take their foot off the brake?
They've done this a couple of times now where they score 3 points in the first half and then have to come back to win it.
Here's my prediction. Alabama's going to be beating teams by 70-point scores the rest because that DeBoer's never going to let his foot off the gas ever again.
Well, I wonder if it's going to be Alabama and Texas.
It's going to come down to that. And Georgia will be still in the mix at the end of it.
Those three teams, this is going to be really interesting. That could be a great
Tennessee.
Season. Yeah.
Tennessee.
And Tennessee, don't count them. Yeah, that's right. You forgot Tennessee. Anyway, 14 minutes after 4 o'clock. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder on you. Happy Monday. Go Braves, game 2. See what you can do there. You dirty right.
Time for the Bortz Report, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, the Southeast premier home exterior solution. Quality and precision you can rely on for over 20 years. Visit southernexteriors.co.
The headline read, everybody, Kamala has learned a new word. Yep, as far away as Great Britain, commentators were commentating about the Kamala Harris with ultra-friendly Stephanie Rule on ultra-left-wing MSNBC. And Stephanie asked her, what are we going to do about housing? And that's when Kamala showed us all that she has learned a new word. Here is what she said. See if you can pick the word out of this, the new one. Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing for working people. There you go, folks. Kamala's new word, holistic or holistically. 3 times in 23 seconds. It's like a teenager saying totally, literally, 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 literally. Clay Travis, the founder of Outkick, summed it up fairly well. He said that intelligent people don't talk like this. People trying to pretend that they're intelligent do. But I like the summary printed by Charles C.W. Cook, a British journalist now running the National Review. He said the issue here is not that Harris possesses all manner of well-considered notions, but struggles to translate them into English. The issue is she's never engaged in politics as anything other than an electoral exercise, and she probably couldn't if she tried. Last night's interview with Stephanie Rule further persuaded me of this. Words follow thoughts, and Harris doesn't have any. Well said. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
When storms wreak havoc on your home, who do you trust to make things right? Look no further than Southern Exteriors. Hey, it's Tug. With over 25 years experience, they understand the urgency of storm damage. They offer emergency response and free estimates to assess the situation and get your home back on track. Southern Exteriors is committed to your home's long-term well-being. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, windows, or doors, they have the expertise to handle it all. Call 877-9-SOUTHERN or visit southernexteriors.co southernexteriors.co. Southern Exteriors, restoring peace of mind one storm at a time. Central Heating and Air Conditioning wants you to know the start of the new season is the perfect time to ensure your home's comfort for the fall and winter. Don't wait like most people do to have your HVAC system serviced. Your home should have maintenance twice a year. Maintenance helps keep your furnace running at peak efficiency and extends the life of your equipment. Turn to the experts for your system's maintenance at 770-GET-HEAT or centralheat.com. Central Heating and Air Conditioning can fix what ails your house and possibly your family with home ventilation and air quality products. Central has packages designed around health using variable speed, fresh air ventilation, air cleaners, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and more. Carrier products, carrier warranty, and carrier peace of mind. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert since 1947 and one of the few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. Call 770-GET-HEAT or go to centralheat.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
What's that now?
We were at a party. The earlobe fell in the day. Someone reached in and grabbed it. What's a rock?
En route. Or whatever that word, I forgot what that word is. B-52s. Song of here. 1993, Kate Pearson from the B-52s Rock Lobster was charged with criminal mischief and trespassing during an anti-fur protest at Vogue's New York City office. Kate Pearson, the B-52s. Rock Lobster. What was the one I liked? They had one song I liked. It was kind of cool. Can't remember.
Right, Love Shack?
Love Shack, yeah. Love Shack. En route. That where she said she was pregnant or something. Wasn't that what that meant?
Tin Roof.
Now suppose Tin Roof Rusted.
Yeah.
Tin Roof Rusted. This supposedly is the music that got John Lennon back in the music studio.
Really?
He allegedly was in the Caribbean and he heard this song and he called Yoko in New York and says, these people are doing what you should have been doing all these years and what you tried to do. Basically, because it sounds a little Yoko-ish, the sounds in the background, which made her want to get back to recording, which made him want to get back recording, which came up with that Double Fantasy album, which basically got them back in the studio.
I'll be damned. A little Rock Lobster action. Pretty cool. Our birthday list includes, let's see, what was I going to tell you about here? Well, let's do Jenna Elfman. Jenna Elfman is 53, Dharma and Greg star. She's June on Fear the Walking Dead. She's a very attractive girl, I would say. Jenna Elfman, 50.
Loopy.
A little crazy. And let's see, on this day in history, 2007, a company in India had to rethink its marketing campaign for its bedspreads called the Nazi Collection. The owner says the word NAZI actually stands for New Arrival Zone of India. And so, the Jews in India were having none of it.
Both of them?
Since the bedspreads featured the name and the Nazi swastika symbol.
Now, wait a minute.
The Nazi collection in India.
No. The swastika was an Indian Aryan symbol long before Hitler grabbed it.
It was in Hinduism. That's true.
Oh, in Tokyo, at the Shinto shrine, there are backward swastikas all through the shrine.
Yeah. It was only taken by the Nazis, long after it had been a symbol
Aryan
for everything. 421, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 4 o'clock hour brought to you by our good friends at the home of the Kimmer Safes, Atlanta Safe House. You need a safe, silly rabbit to keep your things like medical records and your living will and stuff like that. Keep it safe and sound. On the web, atlantasafehouse.com. 421, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. President Stupid Face got testy with reporters talking about why he wasn't doing anything over the weekend. There's an update now. The Democrat governor in North Carolina says the devastation's horrible. Again, the video, I've seen more video today of horrible impact of the storm than I did last week when it hit.
Well, they couldn't get anything out because they lost all power. You couldn't get a phone signal out. And Elon has sent them a bunch of the Starlink things that are finally letting the communication get out.
It's like a whole brand new story. The impact of that, I had no idea. Interstates are gone.
Franklin Graham is there. Elon's there. Trump's there. Franklin Graham is there. Where's FEMA?
Yeah, well, I guess they can't get through the roads.
Asheville, Boone, all of it. I think Chimney Rock supposedly wiped off the face of the map.
Yeah, can't find their communities. I mean, they're literally gone or underwater. Holy cow. And by the way, politics getting, and again, for the record, if you remember, Katrina in particular, when George W. Bush was president and the Democrat media couldn't wait to criticize him every chance they got about not doing enough, flying over the areas, that did anything, so on and so forth. They're giving a free pass so far, although they're beginning to ask a couple of questions about their response to this, so we'll see. But over the weekend also, this goes to show the character of the differences between the two people running for office to be your leaders. Vice President Kamala Sidepiece is fond of saying that Donald Trump's only in it for himself. But Vice President Shiftless and Lazy is throwing that little business under the bus in Pittsburgh, a sandwich shop, over what happened this weekend that showed J.D. Vance is a man of character. What happened was J.D. Vance was going to Pittsburgh's famous Primanti Brothers sandwich shop. But he was barred from going in, and when that became public, Trump's running mate graciously forgave the snub, greeting fans in the parking lot. He paid for all the crowd's meals, gave a generous tip. The store said he was welcome, and their employee had been surprised by all the cameras and didn't know that she was supposed to let him in. And they said everything's fine, all ends well. He was very, very fine. He took care of everything. He said, "Don't blame that person." He said, Harris brought. Let's see. She's doing the vice president's doing harm to the brothers' effort to walk this situation back and make clear that everybody of every political stripe is welcome in this store. There was a calls for a boycott, and so Harris showed a video showing that she was being welcomed as a hero in that store back in August. And the message was clear that unlike Republicans, Democrats are welcome in polite society. So she threw the store under the bus for turning away J.D. Vance when it was all a terrible mistake. Mockery when they discovered that her campaign, by the way, was actually kicking people out of actual diners and bussing in supporters to set the scene. And now she's throwing the store under the bus, and they're saying, no, wait a minute. Carmela Harris, the me girl around all things must revolve. It didn't matter. The matter was settled. Calls to boycott the restaurant were dying down. People ready to move on to more serious matters. And then she has to spike the football on her AstroTurf event at the Greasy Spoon, even it meant hurting their business, because winning votes is more important than taking care of the local community, unlike what she complains. And by the way, her latest economic plan, once again, she says things like, I'm going to bring down the prices to help the American middle class. That's her plan. She's going to bring down those prices, boy. I can't wait for the vice presidential. That's tomorrow. The debate between J.D. Vance and False Walsh Tampon Tim is tomorrow on CBS. And CBS, let's do a little quick history here on CBS and how they feel about conservatives. Remember Donald Trump on with Leslie Stahl back in 2020? And Leslie Stahl, Trump was saying, Joe Biden's in the midst of a scandal right now. And Leslie Stahl said, no, he's not. And Trump said, he is, Leslie is. It's a scandal. She says, oh, come on now. This is 60 Minutes. We can't put things on 60 Minutes we can't verify.
But that we don't want to verify, don't even try.
Yeah. And then Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan. Margaret Brennan suggested the Republicans just move on over the growing controversy surrounding the president who was seeking re-election. She said the deal's infuriated, fixing a deal for the scandal with the Hunter Biden. The deal's infuriated many congressional Republicans who were holding their own hearings. And I wonder if this plea happens if you would advise your party to just move on. Talking to Chris Christie. Oh, this Hunter Biden deal, just move on. You Republicans just need to move on, Chris. He says, no, we're not going to move on. The conduct by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware and the Justice Department just can't be justified. It doesn't take 5 years to investigate 2 misdemeanor tax accounts and dismiss the gun charge. We need to know why they were investigating and why they slow-walked it. So Brennan pushed back by saying, well, no, the U.S. Attorney was appointed by Donald Trump. And he says, well, that doesn't make any difference. It's what they did. I mean, these people they're fighting every tooth and nail to help the liberals, condemning the conservatives just for politics. Gayle King, CBS big star, donated several $1,000s to the Harris re-election bid, saying she's the most qualified to be president of this country. Gayle King on CBS saying that stuff. CBS caught editing an unflattering exchange that Vice President's side piece had with Brennan during an interview last year. Brennan, who's going to be the host of the debate tomorrow night, was seen asking Carmela about age being a factor in the election with her elderly running mate. She said, "You're 58 now, Carmela. If you win the second term, you and the president running to do, he'll be 86 at the end of it." And they showed the camera quickly cut to Carmela's side piece and her facial expression. And Brennan immediately continued. The Wall Street Journal had a poll showing 2/3 of Democrats say Biden's too old to run. "Are you prepared to be commander-in-chief?" She said, "Yes, I am, if necessary," and then defended Biden's fitness as president. But what aired on CBS was not how the conversation unfolded. They left on the cutting room floor Brennan grilling Harris about the criticism she received from the GOP presidential candidates. "Are you up to the job?" Nikki Haley says a vote for Joe Biden's a vote for President Harris. Chris Christie, "I want to be clear, I pray every night for Joe Biden's good health, not only because he's a president, but because of who our vice president is." Ron DeSantis, "Harris is Biden's impeachment insurance," on and on and on. When the version of the exchange came on, they edited all that out. All that was gone because it made her look better. Brennan and O'Donnell both appeared to chastise Donald Trump when he got shot in the face in July, saying it was his own freaking rhetoric. "Did I notice there was no call to lower the temperature, condemning all political violence, really trying to get his supporters to signal them to, well, as to not retaliate or have any kind of escalation here? Doesn't Donald Trump bear some responsibility to that? Doesn't he need to change his rhetoric?" Oh, my God. I mean, this is CBS doing the debate tomorrow night. Donald Trump needs to change his rhetoric. Not the Democrat rhetoric putting a freaking target on his back, but Donald Trump has to change his rhetoric. He's the one who got shot in the face. Oh, my God. I mean, it's on and on and on.
And liars.
I mean, just on and on and on.
And liars.
And by the way, if you don't think vice presidential debates matter, I remember the one that sticks out in my mind is when George W. Bush, H.W. Bush, nominated Dan Quayle. And, of course, Dan Quayle, the senator, he looked 40. He was 42. He looked about 15 years old. And Dan Quayle kept on saying that I have as much experience as John Kennedy did when he was running for office. And I have just as much experience. And that's when Benson stepped up, the big old, tall, big Senator Lloyd Benson stepped up and said, "Senator, I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you are no Jack Kennedy." And the audience went nuts. And, of course, it made a big deal because Quayle looked like an idiot. What he should have done, I say this over and over and over, if Dan Quayle had any smarts about him at all, he should have said, "Boy, congratulations. That's a great speechwriter you got there. Your comedy writer's a pretty good guy. But let me say this to you, Senator. This is exactly why you're never going to be elected anything in a higher office in this country, because you always just turned out to be a grumpy old man who tells kids to get off your lawn." I mean, there's a lot of things you could have responded very quickly and turned it all around entirely. It's like, Mondale was with "Where's the Beef?" from Clara Peller. Anyway, and we'll see tomorrow. I can't wait for the debate. I wonder, I hope, and I'll bet he's not going to do it. I'll bet J.D. Vance does not bring up his charge of carrying a weapon in war, like the gun I carried in war. I'll bet J.D. Vance does not bring it up. We'll see whether anybody else does. Anyway, it's 4:31 already. Holy cow. Braves' second game starts in a little bit. They lost number 1. Holy crap, it's sports coming up later, too. Cover Pete and Flounder. Look out.
Remember that. It was Democrats who were the slave owners. It was the Democrats that voted against the Civil Rights and the Voting Rights Act. But everybody seems to forget that.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
A musician with technical knowledge can play all the right notes. But one who cares enough to play from the heart gives music soul. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Oh, man, look at my backyard. Looks like a tornado met a hurricane in a desert. I'm going to tell her to turf off. Or maybe you'd rather turf on with ATL Turf Co., the Southeast's leading turf installer. Whether you'd like a new football field, putting green, or have us create the perfect maintenance-free backyard of your dreams, find ATLTurfCo.com. Make your yard great again. Visit ATLTurfCo.com and see what we've created for customers like you in the Southeast. ATLTurfCo.com. And no more yard cackling.
This is House Call for Health. Britain's Prince Harry is calling on tech companies to do more to protect young people from the harmful effects of social media. The 42-year-old father of two taking the stage at the Clinton Global Initiative annual meeting in New York this week, discussing the launch of the Archwell Foundation Parents Network. It's an initiative supporting parents whose children have suffered or died due to online harms.
The beautiful faces you see before you, their smiles, their dreams, all lost. All too soon, and all because of social media. It's why we launched the Parents Network.
The Clinton Global Initiative meeting happened on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. The theme of this year's gathering of political, business, and philanthropic leaders was, what's working? For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Oh, boy. Got breaking news here.
Well, you want to do it right now with music later?
Yeah.
All right, let's do breaking news. Pete Davis, Flounder Kimber. What do you got?
Chris Sale has been scratched from Game 2 due to back spasms. Grant Holmes, Holmes, will start for Atlanta in their must-win game, according to Fox Sports. So it's come down. They should have won that first game. They'll look back all off-season for blowing that first game with your best relievers out there, and they just crap their pants.
Again, we were
Ozzie had led them back, and you had them. And last week, you had just embarrassed them 5-1.
Yeah.
The next night, you have Chris Sale at full strength probably, and then Max Fried after that. You had the Mets on the ropes, and the weather let them off the hook.
Yeah. And today we were leading in the 8th inning, 3-0. Yeah. And lost the game 9-8 in one inning.
They were leading in the 9th. They were leading in the 9th and lost it. Lost 2 leads.
Oh, Lordy. Well, anyway. All right, now, I'm sorry, Flounder, a little mystic thing, and we'll start over after the bad news here. But again, Game 2 is coming up, and so we have a chance to continue. Yeah, well, we'll see. Always wish her well. 1978, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John had their second British #1 hit from Grease, Summer Nights. 7 weeks at #1, the second best-selling single of 1978, beaten only by Saturday Night Fever. Wow. Now, I guess that was huge, even bigger than I remember. I got a special story here on my birthday list today. Here, look at the thing here. Our birthday list includes Barry Williams, Greg on the Brady Bunch. Barry Williams is 70 years old, and he admits that the Brady Bunch co-stars all hooked up with each other.
Oh, yeah.
Barry Williams is 70. He says, I dated Maureen McCormick, and Chris Knight dated Eve Plum. Michael Lookingland and Susan Olsen had a little mock wedding at one point. Yeah, we all hooked up. Solely among the younger stars, we did a teenage crush. He did have a teenage crush on his mom, Florence Henderson. I had a teenage crush on her for sure. She got a very lively personality, great sense of humor. And they talked about acting and a music career and so forth. But he said they were all hooking up.
I thought he said he and Florence Henderson had gotten together.
I thought that was the other one. There was somebody. There definitely was. What was the other show that had an older woman? Not the one with a Cassidy, Jack Cassidy.
Partridge Family.
Partridge Family. But somebody, one of the women in one of those series was definitely having sex with one of these young co-stars, and I thought it was Barry Williamson and Florence Henderson. I think, and I'm pretty sure that I remember somebody was, and I think he kind of glossed over it a little bit. But anyway, Barry Williamson is 70 years old today, just for the record. So good for him. That thing with the thing there. And see a little history note here. Very quick. 1963, 2 Democrats are arrested for the bombing of the black church in Birmingham that killed 4 little girls. The Democrats were members of the Democrats Church of the Ku Klux Klan, and although they hated all the black people and wanted to kill them all, they really appreciate the fact that the black people still keep voting for them every time there's an election to keep them in power and keep them doing what they like to do. 437, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Oh, my freaking Braves, man. Give me a break. All right, 437. Other things in the news? Oh, by the way, did you see the crowd, Flounder, coming in today? Holy smokes. The disco theater next door to us, what it called?
The Roxy Theater.
The Roxy Theater. I come around the corner from the parking garage, and all of a sudden there's 1,000 young girls, all look to be about 15 years old, and hippies. I mean, they looked like hippies. They were wearing like tie-dye uniform things and made up in different. It was unbelievable, and they all looked like 15 to 17-year-old girls. Must have been a couple thousand of them. And so I thought, holy smokes, what is this? I mean, it was a real serious, definite look to the group of girls out there. There were sleeping bags and pillows. They had been on the sidewalk all night, I guess. And I looked up at the marquee, and it's the Story of Us World Tour. Now, the Story of Us was like a Netflix thing or something. Wasn't that a big movie or a Story of Us?
NBC, maybe? Or?
It was, and it's the story of, 2 young girls who get to know each other real personally or something. Isn't it kind of erotic and kinky?
I have no clue.
I read a quick thing about it. There's some sort of intimate, erotic coming of age of relationships of young people. And it must be about all girls. And by the way, what are they doing out of school? Is school off or something? But I'm saying a couple of thousand of them, all up and down the sidewalk as far as you could see. And they're all kids. And I said, look, 15. The Story of Us. It's some kind of mamby-pamby leftist, relationship thing, I guess. But it's apparently real to those people. 439. I don't understand social media. Well, hell, the story of the Waffle House worker. Did you hear about this chick? Her name is Yadira Ramirez. And she works, or used to work, at an Atlanta Waffle House. Doesn't say exactly which one. She was doing a video with her co-workers performing what's called Lato's track Brokey on her shift. Okay, so there's somebody named Lato, and there's something called Brokey, which I guess is a song. It's a rapper, and this rapper named Lato promised $10,000 to the fan who posted the best video of this track called Brokey. And so this girl at the Atlanta Waffle House, Yadira Ramirez, did a clip of her colleagues lip-syncing the rap, washing dishes, eating waffles, and splaying cash. And it got 28 million views. 28 million views on TikTok. And it also had unintended consequences. Ramirez revealed in a video the next day, after working there 6 years, she said, I just got fired because of that video of Big Lato's challenge. I'm glad I put 6 years into a company that would fire me, and literally a day of posting one video that harms nobody, that everybody was actually literally rooting for and happy about, but whatever. Smart decision, smart move, and then they put me on, it's called an EFR list. Basically, I can never get rehired again. She's wearing a Waffle House branded hat, spritzing a hose at the camera. They show the drive-through window, another colleague displaying a wad of cash from customers, lip-syncing, a line of Waffle House workers dancing, panning to a receipt, reading Brokey, 2 employees eating waffles. She said she was fired by the manager who was there at the time they were doing the video, but wasn't part of them. The tables turned, though, for Ramirez later when her videos appeared to attract the attention of this Lato herself, who met up with the fired employee. And so Ramirez posted a video of herself dancing with this Lato person on TikTok, wearing a red dress, throwing dollar bills around while Lato twerked next to her. And so she lost that job, but I'll bet she's going to turn out okay. Anyway, what's the problem? 28 million views? How could Waffle House be upset with that? I mean, what, disrespecting what's the, doing some company time? What's the violation? You'd think they'd be happy with all the freaking free publicity. 28 million people looking at the Waffle House having fun. By God, this looks like a fun place. Gee, I mean, I don't get it. Am I so out of time? I mean, you would think that'd be something they say, boy, that was really cool.
Usually a viral video involving Waffle House is basically a worldwide wrestling event.
You heard gunshots. So 3 o'clock in the morning, Kid Rock having a fight with 2 guys who didn't like his friend. Jeez. That's unbelievable. Anyway, I guess, okay. Oh, by the way, did you get this alarm? I know Flounder got it. I got an alarm on my phone. And it shocked the crap out of me. Public safety alert. Georgia Emergency Management Agency, Homeland Security Agency, on behalf of the Environmental Protection Division, local area emergency due to the Rockdale County biolab fire. Yes, the biolab fire. Holy cow. My phone exploded earlier this afternoon, even though this is from yesterday.
Guess what? The air advisory is over all of North Georgia, including where I am, all the way down past McDonough, all the way to South Carolina and Alabama. Basically, this crap is all over North Georgia, and you're not supposed to go outside and breathe it. This is the second time in 20 years this has happened over there. I think we should have no more biolabs in Conyers.
I mean, this was apparently it was quite an event. Multicolored clouds polluting the air. A sprinkler head at the facility in Conyers malfunctioned and caused a mixture of water, reactive chemical. The fire shows gigantic clouds of smoke visible from I-20, blocked off Salem Road and Turner Hill Sunday afternoon. But they said people who lived north of I-20 were asked to evacuate. I-20 blocked off both directions, Salem Road and Turner Hill. Stay out of the area. But again, this is from yesterday, and now we're getting alerts about the bad air today, still today.
Air quality, horrible today. Don't go exercise outside today. And the Braves are having to play a doubleheader in this crap.
Man, I wonder. I didn't smell anything, or I was coming in. Of course, that was several hours ago. Anyway, I don't get it. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, the New York Times done it again. Here's where the New York Times stands. It used to be the motto was all the news that's fit to print. The New York Times was the American document of basically world history, American history, and I mean it was the Centurion many years ago. Well, the New York Times now has come out with an article titled "Protesters Mourn Nasrallah's Death Around the World," heaping praise on this guy Nasrallah as a gifted orator who maintained that there should be one Palestine with equality for Muslims, Jews, and Christians. Yeah. This guy, Nasrallah, believed in the destruction of all the Jews in the world. His organization carried out numerous horrific attacks on Jews all over. And the article describes how he was beloved by Shiite Muslims, in part for providing social services in Lebanon. Well, the aerial bombardment killed him by Israeli forces on Friday. His terror attacks targeted Jews for 40 years, from Buenos Aires in 1994, from the 2000 suicide bombings in Israel, gathering of people at restaurants or buses in public places, rocket strikes at soccer fields. The Times leadership reaction now down to liberal elites, politicians, communists, and Islamists. Well, this is so embarrassing. How does anyone take the New York Times seriously anymore? Another accused the Gray Lady of jihad-splaining, attempting to turn explicit calls for genocide into something positive. Jesus, Mary and Joe. This guy Nasrallah is a gifted orator maintaining peace for... Oh, my God.
They're literally dancing in the street in the Middle East, and the only people crying are terrorists and Western journalists and elites.
I mean, the New York... Well, that's what they're doing. Believe me, this whole period, since Donald Trump came down that freaking escalator, boy, the world has changed. The freedom of the press, the First Amendment.
Well, it's not just the New York Times. The AP, charismatic and shrewd, they called him. Washington Post, seen as a father figure, a moral compass, a political guide.
Oh, my
Let's
Lord.
see.
The head
and
terrorist.
The Guardian. The Guardian, a qualified Islamic scholar, effective public speaker, and competent organizer.
Yeah. Didn't he found Hamas? Didn't he co-founded Hezbollah in 1982?
He killed our Marines.
Yeah.
And we didn't kill him for 40 years.
Yeah.
Israel had to do it for us.
Yeah, we should have sent a hit team over there 40 years ago.
Yeah.
4:47, Kimmer, Pete, Flounder. It's Monday. Go Braves, or it's over. Go or go. Either way. It's go or win.
Go home.
Yeah.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
When it rains, it pours. It's not a matter of if it's going to storm, it's when. Hi, this is Candace with Excavations, and have I got a tip for you. There are only a few things you can be certain of living in Georgia. The weather is absolutely uncertain. Storms are coming, and with that, the storm chasers blew in. You know, the ones that show up, canvass your neighborhood for a free inspection, make deals that are too good to be true, tell you all the neighbors are doing it, and then once they're done, they're gone like the wind. Everyone says they offer a lifetime warranty, but it only lasts as long as the company's in town. At Excavations, we will install your roof on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction, which means we stand behind our warranties. We provide you with written documentation, and we will be here to weather the next storm. So let it rain. We've got you covered. Visit Excavations.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at OurRealSuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Leonard Skinner, baby. I can't help but thinking about having that boat in the Ski-Doo or Sea-Doo up at Lake Allatoona and then moving in next to the dock next to us, to the slip next to us, was the former drummer for Leonard Skinner, who was a really cool little guy. Real kind of earthy and down to earth, and unfortunately, he had a habit of just throwing his trash overboard on the boat into the harbor. And they finally asked him not to, do that anymore. Anyway, Leonard Skinner, on this day in 1974, police called to their Oyster Blue Cult concert after a fight broke out between two sound engineers. The Skinner roadie claimed that the sound had been deliberately turned off during their set. So he got in a fight with the guy who was trying to mess up Leonard Skinner. I don't blame him, protecting your band. Our birthday list includes that naughty little Crystal Bernard. Crystal is 63. She was Helen on Wings. I think she married somebody that we should know. I can't remember anything else. Something about her. I can't remember now. And a couple of TV things in history. On this day, 1960, The Flintstones premiered on ABC. And same day in 1982, Cheers premiered on NBC. Ran for 11 years. One of the greatest, probably, I would say Cheers has got to be one of the top 5, certainly one of the top 10 sitcoms of all time. Maybe one of my top 5 of all time.
Top 10, maybe.
Yeah, top 10 for sure. Although when you start taking into cable like Arrested Development and the Larry Sanders Show, things like that, if you're talking strictly mainstream television, then it would be more easily in the top 5. But including all the rest of it.
Would those be considered a sitcom?
Yeah, Arrested Development's got to be a sitcom, right? And so is Larry Sanders Show. Well, situation comedy. And Frasier too.
Frasier was better than Cheers.
No, I didn't. I never thought that. Well, no, I never thought that. I thought Frasier on Cheers was better than Frasier alone on his own show when he got hooked up with a wife. Anyway, whatever. For 53, you got a Flounders Funny coming up here. Just play it anytime you want. Although I saw this story on Dear Abby. It was actually in the paper, and I actually had asked Flounder to print it up for me as well, because I believe this, and I'm not changing my mind, and I am an ordained minister, as you know, and so is Pete Davis. You see, he agrees with me on this too. Dear Abby. Missing my cat in Georgia. Was told by a Catholic friend his cat would not be joining him in the afterlife. I've been an ordained minister for 27 years, this guy writes. This summer, my cat Fred and I have been with me for 11 years, died. I claim no deeper or higher connection to God than anyone else, but I do know this. The Bible says that God is a God of love. Indeed, the God is love. I know of no more loving companions than pets. Dogs and cats express their love for us humans far better than most of us humans do for each other. I also know that Fred, who just showed up at my house one night and adopted me, taught me many lessons about how to love and be loved. I'm certain God sent Fred into my life to prepare me for marriage after 55 years as a bachelor. I'm a better husband and pastor because of Fred. Therefore, I cannot imagine God not inviting, even welcoming Fred into some sort of heavenly afterlife, whatever that may look like. Love never dies, and I don't believe that the loving relationship between a pet and their human ends at death. Pastor Steve in West Virginia. One more quick. Dear Abby, I'm a seminary-trained, theologically educated, ordained Protestant minister smack in the middle of the Bible Belt. I'll tell missing the Bible has many scripture verses that depict animals in heaven. Great many people who have died and been resuscitated have written about their experiences and said they saw their long-deceased pets on the other side. I want Missy to know I am sure there's a happy, perfect reunion waiting for him when his earthly life is done. Pet-loving Protestant minister. And how about one more, just kind of an old-fashioned long story you may have heard before. Old fellow lost his life in a sudden accident and also took the life of his very old dog. They found themselves on a long road, finally led to a tall, beautifully decorated gate guarded by an official-looking man with a magnificent gray beard and a long white robe. This is heaven, the bearded man said. Come in, we've been expecting you. You'll have to leave your dog outside, though. No animals allowed. The old man thought about it for a moment and then said, we'll just keep walking. Eventually, they came to a small turnstile where they encountered a scruffy old man with a wide grin sitting on a stool. You passed the first test, the old man said, pushing open the turnstile. My name is Peter. Welcome to heaven. Wait, I thought we passed heaven a few hours ago. They wouldn't let me bring my dog in, the old gentleman said sadly. No, replied Peter. That was the devil you met back there, trying to tempt you one last time. Deep down inside, you knew better. Pearly gates or not, how could any place be heaven if you couldn't bring your dog? I believe it.
Mark Twain said, if heaven doesn't let dogs in, I don't want to go.
I'm not going. I know I'm going to say Jack the Good Boy and Shooter and all my dogs and cats and all of them. I mean, I remember all my pets all those years, and I'll bet you they're waiting.
You know, the pets will probably be more likely to like seeing us than maybe some.
Well, I know my final wife won't be looking for me up there. That's for sure. I think I'm not in the top 5 anymore. 357. Flounder's funny there.
A friend of mine has a car phone. He has an answering machine on his car phone. The message is, "Hi, I'm home right now." So I can't come to the phone. But if you leave your name and number, I'll call you when I'm out. Whenever I pick up someone hitchhiking, I always like to wait a few minutes before I say anything to them. Then I say, "So, how far do you think you were going?" Put your seatbelt on. I want to try something. I saw it in a cartoon, but I'm pretty sure I can do it.
And of course, that's our famous
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright, of course. One of the funny guys. Our favorites include where he said he bought a house just off the interstate, and the only problem is you have to back out of your driveway doing 70.
Yeah.
Stuff like, he said, "I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize." Anyway, 4:58 with a Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. We have Holy Crap at Sports. Not only that, and the Braves, and they're going to be starting game 2 here. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we have to. We got to talk about the Georgia-Alabama game. As much as I hate it, but yeah, by the way, who didn't know we can't beat Alabama? I mean, I don't get it. I don't get
What's
it.
This we?
I know.
What's this we, Kemosabe?
Yeah, we got to turn your pocket. Sorry. 4:59. And by the way, for the record, Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, did an interview, and he said, just for the record, the people in New York City, Mayor Eric Adams and all those guys are bad-mouthing me forever and ever. The only reason I started busing illegal immigrants to New York City is because they kept complaining about me busing people even when I wasn't doing it. He said Eric Adams started criticizing me busing from New York when I wasn't doing it, and he said, you know what, New York's a sanctuary city, fine. If I'm going to get criticism, I'm going to get the credit. So he started busing all the illegal, 50,000 of them, to New York City because he was basically asking for it. Well, that's what you get, you idiot. Come, we might have more politics and stuff, including false walls and Donald Trump in Florida and Valdosta in Georgia, and try to help the folks. 5 o'clock, Kevin, Pete, and Flounder. Let her rip Monday. Go Braves. Come on. Pull it out. You got to be kidding.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches.
More help is on the way. Lisa Brady, Fox News. That message from North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper, with parts of the state still unreachable in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene.
When you have a situation where communities are completely cut off, when first responders can't even get in because water is still there and rivers are rising right now as we speak.
The area around Asheville especially hard hit, 500 miles from where Helene made landfall in Florida.
And this is a massive coordinated effort to help this area, both in the short term and in the long term.
It could take weeks to restore running water in some areas. Across the southeast, some 2 million remain without power. More than 120 are dead, with hundreds more unaccounted for.
I've directed my team to provide every available resource as fast as possible to your communities to rescue, recover, and to begin rebuilding.
President Biden also says he will visit affected areas once it's safe and non-disruptive. The former president visiting Georgia today.
Former President Trump held a moment of silence for those killed in Hurricane Helene.
As you know, our country is in the final weeks of a hard-fought national election. But in a time like this, when a crisis hits, when our fellow citizens cry out in need, none of that matters. We're not talking about politics.
He said he came with trucks of food and fuel and had received a briefing from FEMA while in Valdosta.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Trump did criticize some of President Biden's storm response. Meantime, Vice President Kamala Harris ended a Western campaign trip early to focus on FEMA's response. The Biden administration is extending asylum restrictions, first put in place earlier this year, now allowing limits to remain in place for longer before being lifted when daily border crossings fall below 1,500 on average. America is listening to Fox News.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
Ladies, left shoulder, right of leg, ready on your dog, target. Road guards out. Stand by. It's only me. It's only the Giver with Pete Davis and Flounder. And the Braves are going to be starting Game 2 of the doubleheader shortly. They lost the first game. Holy Crap at Sports is coming up with a full story. Unbelievable. And we got, I'll tell you what, Flounder, Vice President's side piece is speaking live in Washington. I think she may be talking about the hurricane stuff. Can we take her live for a second, see if it's worth...
I have been receiving over the last couple of days. I have received regular briefings on the impact of Hurricane Helene, including from Administrator Criswell.
Oh, she got briefings?
And over the past 24 hours, I have spoken with Governor Kemp of Georgia, Governor Cooper of North Carolina, and many local officials.
Yeah, the storm started Thursday.
I have shared with them that we will do everything in our power to help communities respond and recover. And I've shared with them that I plan to be on the ground as soon as possible, but as soon as possible without disrupting any emergency response operations, because that must be the highest priority in the first order of business.
All right, that's fine. I don't want to hear any more of her. Thank you.
Okay, not one more red cent to Ukraine before they rebuild every dam, every road, every city, every hospital, every school in North Carolina and Tennessee. Not 1 cent for them.
And by the way, let's see how many other countries around the world are be willing to chip in to help rebuild American cities. Remember the Gordon Sinclair of the Americans? Yeah. The guy from the Canadian broadcaster. We should play that again. In fact, Flounder, what the hell?
Not today. No, not today. There's too much going on for that.
At some point. Well, yeah, I know. But
and it's so long and it's so grainy and it's...
Yeah, but it's good. Anyway, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Here's number 404-741-1230. 741-1230. The second game of the doubleheader coming up shortly. And the Braves lost game 1. If they lose this game, it's over. They will not be going to the playoffs. And they still have a chance, of course, but we'll see. It would be rare to lose 2 games of a doubleheader. But again, we're not getting Sale. Pete just said the latest news is Chris Sale's not pitching, not starting. Back spasms.
Got a bullpen game going in game 2 for your season on the line, and you got to throw a bullpen game out there. I mean, you've managed Chris Sale and Ronaldo Lopez fantastic throughout the year, and we get down to the final day and he can't go. It's such a shame.
Yeah. And again, the fact that we're even here is pretty remarkable with all the Acuna, my God. I mean, people thought that was the ball game from the first time it happened. First of the series.
I think Strider getting hurt and Acuna, because they won the World Series without Acuna.
Yeah.
But when you lose both Strider and Acuna, and then you lose Murphy, and then on day one, and you lose Riley later, and you lose Michael Harris, it's like good grit, and Ozzie Albies.
Yeah. Well, and your stars in offense, a star pitcher. I mean, that's the ball game normally. So the fact they even got here, and we'll see. Game 2 coming up. We'll keep you posted. Other things going around the area here. President Stupid Face got a little defensive when they asked him who the hell's in charge around here. He was doing a news conference today, and he said, President Showers with daughter said, I will be going to the devastated areas, but not yet. I don't want to be a distraction. He just coughed a lot. He kind of got real defensive when a reporter asked him who the hell was in command over the weekend directing the hurricane response. As he was concluding remarks and heading to leave the Roosevelt room, a reporter yelled, and the hurricane, Mr. President, why weren't you and Vice President Harris here in Washington commanding this weekend? And Biden yelled, I was commanding it. I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday, and the day before, I commanded it. It's called a telephone, and all my security people. Okay, let me repeat that again. For at least 2 hours yesterday, and the day before as well, I command it. It's called a telephone, and all my security people. I command it. It's called a telephone, and all my security people. That was the sentence. Are we missing a couple of verbs in there, maybe? Some descriptive adjectives or something to make them actually complete sentence? Good God. Then he turned to leave, and reporters started to ask, is it not important for the country to see? And he left and took off. At the start of his remarks, President Stupid Face said, we're going to be in constant contact with governors, mayors, and local leaders regarding the hurricane. I'm committed to traveling to the impacted areas as soon as possible, but I've been told that it would be disruptive if I did it right now. Well, that's what they all say. You just heard Vice President Sidepiece say the same damn thing. Well, we're going to go, but we don't want to be disruptive. Well, then how come when George W. Bush was flying over and he didn't want to go down there to be disruptive, they attacked him every second of every freaking day for the entire storm in the aftermath? These freaking phonies. Good Lord. Honestly, just freaking unbelievable. 5:09 here with the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. Oh, but I know what, Flounder, just for the heck of it, I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I think we should give tribute to the leftists media people when they start turning around and maybe showing a little more common response to the way it used to be when Saturday Night Live, which I have not watched. I've not sat down to watch Saturday Night Live literally in decades. And I did not watch it over the weekend. But Saturday night, they had that, what's her name? Hold on, I got it here somewhere. The Maya Rudolph and that David Spade guy. And they did some great impressions of the president and vice president. And since they did take the opportunity to kind of pick on the two leaders in Washington, Flounder, let's play once again, saluting the left when they get it right, actually causing a little hooboob over the Saturday Night Live show of the weekend. Over the thing with the thing there. Did he not hear? Are you in there? Is it stuff on you? What happened? Can you hear me? Hey, Flounder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is everything all right?
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything.
You just said play something. And
we're supposed to play the Saturday Night Live thing, but like 2 minutes ago, and you've been looking around in there. And
hey, listen up, everyone. We couldn't have gotten here without one man, and his name is Joe Biden. Get on out here, Joe Biden.
Folks, that's right. A lot of people forget I'm president, including me. But guess what? And by the way, I think I did a pretty good job. I passed more bills than any president in history. But folks, we still got work to do, no joke. I'm being serious right now. Come on. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, the rich don't pay their fair share. They gotta pay the fair share. We gotta build back better. Build back the better, the better, the better. Build back the better. Can't believe it's not butter.
Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say, say thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you for putting country first and for handing over the reins.
I didn't want to. They made me. And guess what? And by the way, the fact of the matter is, no joke, this is serious right now. This is serious. Anyway, in conclusion, me and Vice President Harris are the same.
Oh, okay. Great stuff. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Goodbye, Joe. Goodbye, Biden.
Joe Biden. Yeah, I was on the phone for at least 2 hours yesterday and the day before as well. I command it. It's called a telephone and all my security people. That was his response to the question by the reporter of jeez, I mean, it's literally like he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, and it's like a little boy who's saying, no, I didn't take that cookie because somebody else got it, and tries to leave the room. I mean, it's just, honest to God, I can't.
I am shocked that the Russians and the Chinese haven't pulled something major.
Well,
unless they're thinking if Trump wins, they're going to get payback. I don't know.
I'll bet they wish.
The Houthis shot against us again yesterday to our troops and our naval boats off the coast
because they can get away with it.
Nothing happened. They went after Israel, and Israel attacked them the next day.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference. That's exactly the difference. And this leadership, holy crap. And when I see Vice President's side piece trying to look presidential, well, I've been in contact with the governor and the mayors, and we're doing everything we can here in the federal government. Oh, please, give me a break. She wouldn't know the name of FEMA. I guarantee you, she does not know what the letters stand for. 5:13. Well, holy crap, it's Braves. maybe we'll see. Pete Davis coming up next with Kipper, Pete, and Flounder. 5:13, 106.3. How's your Monday so far? Look out.
What about so many other so-called progressives out there? The DEI movement. They want punishment for criminal activity to be equitable.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Doug Moore is a health insurance broker at yourchoicehealthplan.net. He believes your health insurance premiums should not look like a mortgage payment. You don't have to overpay for health insurance. He sells private insurance with no deductibles and no rate increases. These plans are typically 30 to 60% less than what you're paying and don't need to change doctors. He customizes all plans to meet your budget. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net. He can save you big money. Call Doug Moore at 770-697-0100. That's 770-697-0100. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net. If your payment is too high, you're on COBRA, or your work coverage is too expensive, call Doug, 770-697-0100. You don't have to have government marketplace insurance that's crazy expensive. Don't fret. Go to yourchoicehealthplan.net and request a quote. Call 770-697-0100 and let Doug design a plan for you, not by big government.
Are you looking for something simple but delicious, sweet but also savory? Discover Schumann Farms Sweet Onions. Schumann Farms is a third-generation family farm with the Real Sweet brand and Mr. Buck's brand sweet onions. Each brand brings savory, sweet deliciousness to every meal. Whether you're grilling, sautéing, or simply adding a fresh crunch to your salad, Schumann Farms has you covered. Look for Schumann Farms Real Sweet brand and your Mr. Buck's brand sweet onions at your grocery store and taste the difference for yourself. Schumann Farms, the Georgia family farm growing tradition and the world's sweetest onions.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Bronies, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. 404-777-1911. 404-777-1911. Online at stopmyed.com.
All right, look out. Our 5 o'clock hour brought to you by our friends at Lee Brand Jewelers, where luxury jewelry and watches are affordable. Drop by their store in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrand.com. It's 5:17, and holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
Well, we had so much great sound lined up for you of an exciting Braves victory in Game 1 to basically put them in the postseason after an amazing injury-filled season. And what a great job by Brian Snicker to lead them all through this. Manager of the Year material right there.
Successful.
And 3-0 lead going into the top of the 8th. Your rookie, Spencer Schwellenbach, has held the Mets to like 4 hits and 1 earned run. So you bring in the grizzled veterans, the guys who know pressure, the guys who can really handle pressure. We're all counting on you. Just want to say good luck. We're all counting on you. And what happens? Joe Jimenez, who sucked the last time he pitched, comes out and gives up 3 runs.
Oh, boy. So
they tie the game. And then Raciel Iglesias comes in, who was like perfect for 3 months. He comes in and he allows 2 runs.
Oh, boy.
And all of a sudden, they're losing, and all of a sudden it's 6-3 going to the bottom of the 8th.
Oh, boy.
But then the Braves rally, and they do this.
3-1. Swung on a fly ball to deep left field. Going back there, Nemo. Over his head. Off the wall. Here we go. 1 run in. 2 runs in. 3 runs in. As the Albies reared back and burned it to left field. And it's 7-6 Braves in the 8th.
So that would
Ben
be a
Ingram
win
on
then,
6
clearly.
to the fan there. Now, most major league teams would take that as a sign from up above that you're supposed to win the game there. But you've already used your closer. In fact, Aaron Bummer had to come in relief of Raciel Iglesias. That's how bad he was. Okay. So then you bring in Pierce Johnson, who's the obvious guy to bring in there. He gives another pitch to Francisco Lindor, who had gotten one the inning before. 2-run homer, and the Braves lose 8-7 in Game 1. Okay, then we're thinking, all right, well, we got Chris Sale. That's why you've held him back for almost a week here. You got Chris Sale ready to go. Hey, you know, your Cy Young winner, he's going to go out there. And he got scratched because of back spasms. You wonder if he was having problems with them last week. So the Braves now have Grant Hay-Holmes, I believe, starting this game, basically a bullpen game with your season on the line. Really can't help it at this point. This is the way the cookie crumbles. But if they lose, they are out, and the Mets and D-backs are in. The Mets are already in, by the way. So we had them on the ropes, and we let them off. As Tom Hughes just posted, he goes, why does Atlanta always have to be on the wrong end of the greatest comeback ever archives?
That's right. In fact, we're in Flounders White got a set on in there. Would have been the 2nd inning, I think, of Game 2.
1-0 Atlanta.
Well, they had a guy on 3rd.
Yeah, well,
so
that means nothing. We're up 3-0 in the first game. So I don't want to hear any more scores about us being up until the 9th.
No, let's not be negative. Let's have all positive energy going off to the ballpark here from the back.
And the amazing thing is, if they do win and they get in, they're probably going to have to go West Coast and play the Dodgers or the Padres, both very good teams. And they won't have Chris. Who knows if they'll have Chris Sale in Game 1? Who knows if they'll have him in the postseason with these back spasms? So the odds are against them.
When do those games start? Since the season it would be over today, right? Isn't this the last day?
Yeah.
Everybody will be done by today, right?
I think some of the series start tomorrow, to tell you the truth, because they don't wait too long now. Because they're already late. We're already late, these suckers. So we'll see. If they lose, well, it was an amazing season considering all the injuries. No other team could have weathered these injuries and been here at the end like this. It would be heartbreaking to lose, though, at this point, to get all the way to the end and lose. And weather screwed them last week. I firmly believe that Chris Sale goes Wednesday night and Max Fried the next night. They win at least one of those games, and they pretty much would cruise on to get into the postseason without having to play today. But this has messed us up. Saddened to wake up to the news that Hawks legend Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58. Had been battling brain cancer for 2 years. The Hall of Famer, known for his massive blocks and finger wagging afterwards. No. Even in the commercials, he died surrounded by family. I love that commercial. It was in a grocery store, and they were throwing something in the cart, and he slammed it away from something.
Yeah, that was a series of very funny stuff.
Dikembe Mutombo was simply larger than life, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says. On the court, he's one of the greatest shot blockers and defensive players in the history of the NBA. Off the floor, he poured his heart and soul into helping others. There is nobody more qualified than Dikembe to serve as the NBA's first global ambassador. He was a native of the Congo, played 18 seasons with the Nuggets, Hawks, 76ers, the New Jersey Nets, and the Knicks and Rockets. Retired after the 2009 season. 7'2", former Georgetown center, the league's top defensive player 4 times, had 3 All-NBA selections, played in 8 All-Star games. He ranks 20th all-time in rebounds with over 12,000, finished with over 3,200 blocks, second to only Hakeem Olajuwon. Amazing.
Wow, yeah.
He was inducted into Basketball Hall of Fame in 2015, averaging almost 10 points and 10 rebounds for his career. Number 55 jersey, retired by both Denver and Atlanta. Dikembe Mutombo passing away at the age of 58. It's such a shame there. What a great guy. The Falcons managed to get a win over the Saints in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, despite the offense barely showing up for work. 26-24 was the final, as young Wade Koo kicked his longest field goal ever of 58 yards with 2 seconds remaining, and the longest ever field goal in the Benz. It was Koo's 8th game-winning field goal, kicked within the final 10 seconds since 2021. That's good for most in the NFL since then.
Wow.
So he is the man.
For him.
In fact, his 4 field goals, combined with 2 extra points and a special teams touchdown and a pick 6, made up for all 26 Atlanta points. The offense didn't score a lick despite all these high-powered assets. But a win's a win. And they're 2-2 going into their game here at home against the Buccaneers Thursday night. That's right, the NFL scheduled the Falcons to have to play 2 of their biggest NFC South rivals twice in 5 days.
That's not good.
Some takeaways from the win. Receiver Kadero Hodge, responsible for the Falcons' first muffed punt turned touchdown of this century. I said muffed punt. With his 2 rushing touchdowns, a 2-yarder in the first quarter and a 5-yarder in the second, Saints tight end Taysom Hill is now responsible for 11 touchdowns against the Falcons. Guess what? Only 3 men are responsible for more of those. Can you name one of them?
More touchdown against the Falcons than he is?
Taysom Hill, the slow white guy, is like Jim Brown when he plays the Falcons. I'm telling you, the only men, there are 3 quarterbacks that have more touchdowns against the Falcons. Their names are Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, and Drew Brees. Okay? If he hadn't got hurt and missed the second half, New Orleans probably wins if Taysom Hill didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Good grief.
You can't keep depending on special teams and pick sixes. The offense has to carry its weight. And you can't win just by kicking field goals in the NFL. Unless you're the Steelers in game 1 of the season and you did just that. But you have to be playing the Falcons for that to work.
Isn't that
there's
funny
a
how
trade-off.
that works out?
The Falcons now on the all-time record against the Saints, 56-55. I can't believe it's that close.
Wow.
I like using Tyler Algier more, giving Bijan Robinson a breather now and then. The Falcons are 11-3 when wearing the red helmet since 2009. It was a good look. It's a good look. And I prefer the red helmets, red jerseys, and white or silver breeches, but I'll take what they had yesterday as well. Good look.
Yeah. I like it.
The cannibalization of the SEC began early this season with Kentucky upsetting Ole Miss, then Alabama almost blowing a 28-0 lead, and then held off to nip Georgia in one of the best college football games you will ever see. In fact, Paul Feinbaum said it's the best he'd seen in 40 years. The Bulldogs came out of that loss with several players banged up, including head coach Kirby Smart saying he's not going to talk much about the playing status for this weekend against Auburn. So go from Alabama to Auburn. When asked after the game what happened in that first half in Tuscaloosa, Kirby responded, "Let me start by saying I grew up in a middle-class family."
That's not going to
By the way, I don't know. Is Auburn in the between the hedges this week, or are they over there in Auburn? It seems kind of weird to play in Alabama two games in a row.
That's a good question.
I think they're back in Athens. Mike May had the funniest response to the Bama-Georgia game when he posted, "Alabama couples do it doggy style so they can both watch Georgia win."
I'm sorry, Pete, I missed part of that.
I was going to let Pete, the game is in Athens this Saturday.
Oh, that's right. Thank you very much. Bama couples do it doggy style so they can both watch Georgia win.
That's pretty crude.
Still funny.
That's still funny.
And at halftime with the Tide-winning big, Brett McMurphy tweets, "Just curious, do SEC rules allow for a second-half running clock?" Didn't hold up well. And Peter Burns tweeted, "They are eating the dogs."
Yeah, I saw that.
The Trump song there. He also tweeted, "Fine, I'll ask it. Was Saban holding back Bama?" And a lot of people want to know why Bama allowed at least one player, if not two, to wear a message across their face that read, "Kill everybody."
Oh, I didn't see that.
Now, it's about, kill them on the field, but that's not a good look with what's going on. You're playing a team that lives in a state that just had a massive high school shooting, and you're 17-year-old yourself, and you're wearing "kill everybody"? You're just out of high school
you
yourself?
get kicked out of a game if you do the slash your throat maneuver. They'll throw you off of a football game for doing that. It's bad
Let's
conduct.
put it this way. I doubt we see anybody in college football wearing that next week.
Yeah.
I think there'll be some talking to.
Wow.
A video made a few months ago is turning some heads. It shows Georgia quarterback Carson Beck driving a Ferrari F8 Spider somewhere on the roads around Atlanta, obviously exceeding the speed limit. And they're laughing and having a good time about it. Don't know why it's just surfacing now, but it's another bad look for the program with the speeding problem image. Not good. It's making some of the national talk headlines on the sports web pages, and that's not a good look. Not a good look. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the SEC and Big Ten conferences continue to consolidate their growing power over college football. The two conferences' athletic directors will discuss a possible partnership in football scheduling, along with their preferences for automatic bids in the next football playoff. The discussion will take place next week in Nashville, which should make all the other conferences shake in their boots. A sticking point is the Big Ten teams play 9 in-conference games. The SEC is not doing that right now. Both conferences want 4 automatic bids to the playoff, which means they'd have 8 of the 12 spots every year. In fact, one SEC source told ESPN's Heather Dinich, "I'm for anything that gives us the maximum number of postseason opportunities. I don't count bowl games as postseason opportunities."
What the hell's going on with college
Bowls mean
football?
nothing anymore. Can you say super conference, boys and girls? I knew that you could. It's coming. It's coming. One big, massive NFL-like conference. It's sad. And the new Pete poll is out, which always comes out before the AP poll. Still has Texas #1, followed by Bama. Most of the places have Bama on top. Ohio State 3rd, the Dogs 4th, and Tennessee rounding out the top 5. After that, it's Miami, Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame, and Mississippi. AP has the Crimson Tide #1, then the Longhorns, Buckeyes, Volunteers, and Georgia 5th. And so much for UNLV losing their quarterback to an NIL disagreement. The Running Rebels spanked Fresno State 59-14 to improve to 4-0. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
Jets head coach Robert Saleh is once again finding out who's really running the show in New Jersey. The Jets had 5 false starts in their embarrassing home loss to the Broncos. Afterwards, Saleh slightly mentioned Aaron Rodgers' sophisticated cadence that he uses to draw the other team offside may need a little tweaking. After 24 hours to think about it and likely hearing about it from Rodgers, Saleh is now backing off any slight criticism he may have had, saying there will be no change to how Aaron does things. And he looked old in that game, too. He looked old and he looked washed up, which he looked better the week before. So we'll see it. And the Red Sox honored longtime radio voice Joe Castiglione, who called his final game Sunday. Castiglione, 74, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer. He's been the voice there since '83. Castiglione signed off like he does each season, reading part of former Commissioner A. Bartley Giamatti's The Green Fields of the Mind. Class act, Joe Castiglione. I'm going to go back and listen to his final game, too.
40 years or more.
Yeah. One final insult for A's fans after their last game ever representing Oakland, a game in which they almost came back from a 6-0 deficit. Fans tuned in to see their last post game on NBC Sports California to commiserate together, but it was not to be. Seems because of a studio conflict, the post-game show had to be pre-recorded before the game, making it a pre-game show. So fans were screwed over one last time, this time by the team's broadcast partner. We've already moved on. If I'm the host and one of them is former pitcher Dave Stewart, I take the damn show to a local Oakland sports bar and do it there. I say the hell with it. I wouldn't even shown up for that thing. I'd have gone just to the sports bar and says, let's do it now. Is there anything that still works the way it's supposed to in California these days?
Well, it's a great question. The answer is no.
Yeah, and Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson has a message for those of you who bet on him to run up the big numbers in Baltimore's big win over Buffalo, tweeting, "This is a team sport. I'm not out here satisfied when I throw for 300 yards and take an L. If I throw for 50 yards and we win, that's what the blank matters. Y'all stop commenting on our socials about the yards. Y'all FanDuel or parlays ain't hit."
Well, I'm not a gambling guy, and I agree with him totally. Anyway, 5:31. Well, we got sports birthdays and sports history. Oh, we got so much more, Pete. We're not done by a mile yet. And Braves, game 2. They're playing game 2. We'll give you an update here shortly. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 5:31.
Nothing but confidence and very little of that. Go Braves.
It's exactly the kind of crap I've been talking about. At 5:31 with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder there.
The latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust. Your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
As an official community partner of the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Braves Foundation, the Warrior Alliance connects warriors and their families to free services such as health and wellness, housing, employment, education, legal services, and so much more. We need your financial support to increase our impact and change thousands of lives for those who served in the U.S. Armed Forces. It takes more than just thank you for your service. Make a donation to help warriors navigate to success after service. Go to thewarrioralliance.org/donate and make a difference today.
With the upcoming election, an assassination attempt on President Trump, wars overseas, inflation, and stock market volatility, these are uncertain times. Do you have a plan? Are you prepared today to have a worry-free tomorrow? If you haven't been to True Prep, now is the time. True Prep is locally owned and operated by Joey and Matthew, who are Georgia Tech graduates. Visit True Prep on Cobb Parkway in Marietta or visit online at trueprep.com. That's TRUprep.com.
Well, Sally, thank you for your time, but unfortunately, we can't offer you the position.
But why?
Well, we got the results of your background check, and we saw some red flags.
Like what?
Apparently, you were accused of dog-napping a Chihuahua named Mr. Cha-Cha.
Mr. Cha-Cha was my soulmate.
At Horizon Background Screening, we find things that other companies don't. That's why companies that use us make smarter hiring decisions. Don't let the wrong hire put your company at risk. Get the real story on your candidates at horizonscreening.com.
Life takes a toll on our bodies. No way around it. Whether it's sitting hours on end at your computer or working a physical job, over time, your body pays the price. There is, however, an effective way to turn back the clock on pain. Relief Factor. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor helps support your body's response to inflammation. The difference, instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it for good. And it's 100% drug-free. If the pains that come with living a full life are affecting you, do as so many others have. Turn back the clock on pain with Relief Factor. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. When you feel good, it's amazing how much more you get out of life. So visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Try it for only $19.95. While we can't stop aging, not yet, we can stop pain. Turn back the clock with Relief Factor.
I'm just mad about saffron. Saffron's mad about me.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm just mad about saffron. She's just mad about me.
That's a little Donovan here for you.
Call me mellow, yeah.
A little mellow there, Mr. Donovan. 1965, Donovan made his American TV debut on Shindig, along with the Hollies, the Turtles, and the Dave Clark Five. Remember the Dave Clark Five? I'm kind of surprised they never. I thought the Dave Clark Five and the Rolling Stones and the Byrds and all were kind of in the same thing, and the Dave Clark Five never really mattered. I'm kind of surprised. I thought they were kind of just like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones.
What are you talking about?
No, sir.
They can't.
I know.
No,
that's what
they don't belong in the same studio.
I know. I'm just saying. But when I was a kid, I was a young teenager when they were singing. I thought, I'm thinking of some of their songs, and I thought, boy, this, they were going to be big too, and they weren't. So
you also thought joining Marines and going to Vietnam was a good idea.
Well,
too,
I wanted to go to war. I'm sorry. Son of a bitch, a minute.
I got to call into question your cognitive skills at the time.
36 hours, people were trying to kill me. I said, what the hell? Hey, stop that.
Whoa, time out.
Didn't even have a gun yet. God.
I just got here. Let's get acclimated. Humidity. Come on.
I used to this heat. Jeez.
Get a drink in me.
Anyway, 536. Our birthday list includes, we've got a couple of sports things here, Pete Davis, after Holy Crap at Sports. Dominique Moceanu. Man, I had the biggest crush on this teeny little gymnast. She was about 4.5 feet tall. Dominique Moceanu from the 96 Summer Olympics in Atlanta is now 43 years old. She shot up 7 inches by 1997 to a towering 5'3". She was just, I thought she was so cute. God, she was really, really something. Martina Hingis, the tennis star girl, is 43 years old today. And let's see, the last game at the Windy Candlestick Park was on this day in 1999. Dodgers beat the Giants 9-4. The World Series on the TV for the first time, not many sets available, in 1947. Sponsored paid $65,000 for the entire World Series back in 1947. George Herman Babe Ruth hit home run number 60 for the season in 1927 on this day, breaking his own record. It stood until 1961, sort of, when Roger Maris suffered all that emotional abuse. And, of course, there were more games and had the asterisks and all that kind of stuff here with the thing. And one more quick thing here, Pete Davis. On this day, actually 2 things. 2000 tennis stud Pete Sampras married Bridget Wilson of the I Know What You Did Last Summer and the Wedding Planner fame. I guess she hasn't found anybody better yet. Still together, I think, 24 years. And let's see, Roberto Clemente got his 3,000th hit on this day for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1972. Killed in a plane crash 3 months later, delivering goods to help the little people on New Year's Eve. 538, Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, 404-741-1230. Oh, Flounder, let's do this. Somebody, now I don't know whether this is a person's name, Liz Variant, or a website, or a social media post, or what, but something called Liz Variant came out with a fairly clever musical meme with Donald Trump singing about the border czar, if you will, sir.
From the wackos on the left to the MAGAs on the right, they know I'm beating Kamala. This race won't even be tied. Her policies are nutso. She's out her goddamn mind. She just repeats the same thing, regurgitating her lines. She thinks that immigration without paperwork is good. Clearly not too much power underneath Kamala's hood. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are, borders are. Cackling Kamala, you're dumb. Mass inflation imminent if she weasels herself in. If that don't sound like fun to you, then you better help me win. I promise I'll secure you, you'll be in better hands. It'd be a flippin' free-for-all with what Kamala plans. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are, borders are. Laugh it up, Kamala. This lady, she's cackling great.
And that's Liz Variant. I don't know anything about that person or group or whatever, but it's pretty clever. I have no idea what it was, but I heard it. 404-741-1230 if you want to be part of our actual program today. 404-741-1230. Oh, Pete Davis, by the way, you got it exactly right talking about the Braves. Again, they're in game 2. Last I heard, Flounder, have the game on in there? They were leading 1-0 last I heard in the second inning.
Still 1-0 in the top of the 4th.
Okie dokie. And again, Pete, you were mentioning how the bias and, the following on Major League Baseball. The New York Post Here's the headline, is a big, beautiful color picture. The New York Post this afternoon, OMG, capital red letters, exclamation point, and then inside the picture of Lindor hitting the home run, OMG again, headline, Mets clinch playoff spot as Francisco Lindor's 9th inning home run caps insane win over Braves.
But see, that's the New York Post. You expect that from them.
Yeah.
MLB's supposed to be impartial, and they are not.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball was doing exactly that kind of thing that Pete was keeping track of every time.
Because they're all Mets fans.
Yeah. Unbelievable. 404-741-1230. Okay, Kevin, Pete, and Flounder. Oh, Lordy. Carmela's husband, Doug Emhoff, was being interviewed by former White House liar Jen Psaki, now the liar for MSNBC, on Sunday. And she was talking about his perspective reshaping masculinity. And between Emhoff, who says, well, I've always just, kind of supported my wife, and that's what the modern day man does, and Tim Walsh, False Walsh, the tampon Tim, they're saying, even the Washington Post columnist is saying Emhoff is a progressive sex symbol. And the running mate, Tim Walsh, False Walsh, a different example of masculinity to combat former President Donald Trump's hold on the male vote. The Washington Post says Emhoff is a progressive sex symbol, much like Ryan Gosling. The modern female fantasy is embodied by the man who might soon become our first gentleman. Well, it's freaking pansy time. And again, I don't know. And tomorrow night's the debate. Do you, Pete Davis and Flounder as well, do you think that J.D. Vance should bring up, when he's debating False Walsh, should J.D. Vance be the one to bring up his phony claims about carrying a weapon in war? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a liar.
Yeah. And I'm wondering whether the panel, and again, it's two girls. In fact, I've got the story here. Where the hell? Here we go. The two girls, Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan, are moderating the debate, and we already know where they stand. We already know where CBS stands. Margaret Brennan suggested that Republicans, stop trying to go after Hunter Biden and the laptop and all that stuff. You got congressional hearings. Why don't you just move on? It's time for your party to just move on. Again, if you would switch the parties of the people involved in the scandals, there would be no moving on whatsoever. Anyway, again, I can't. I mean, this is going to be I hope J.D. Vance nails him. I hope he just nails him. And how can False Walsh defend himself over those lies? Can you imagine what they must be talking to him about right now? How is he possibly going to defend himself for having tampons in the boys' rooms and having parents being shielded from whether their kids want to change their gender in public schools? And apparently you can do that in Minnesota without telling the parents. And the business with his false claims of carrying a weapon in war, and also that he was the command sergeant major where he was temporarily, and then he ditched his unit. I mean, my God, the man's a disgrace.
If he goes after him about the false claims and will also say, look, I'm not here for personal attacks. I'm here for the American people and what I'm going to do for the American people. Now, the other stuff, hopefully Vance will nail him on that stupid things he's done for Minnesota. They just put in a non-citizen Somali as a cop in Minneapolis. How can you have a non-citizen as a cop? I wouldn't pay one bit of attention to any cop that's not a citizen. You're not a cop to me. I'm sorry. I'm not being handcuffed by you. I'm not going quietly or peacefully with you. I'm not going to pay attention to you. You are a non-citizen. You cannot tell me what to do in my own damn country.
Isn't Minnesota the number one population for Somalians in America outside of Somalia?
They also have the highest rate of insanity and corruption, probably, too. I mean, if there's one place on this planet nobody wants to go to, it's the Horn of Africa, and there's a reason for that.
And by the way, the False Walsh, remember, this is also the guy who had a snitch line to fink on your neighbors if they were not wearing a mask in Minnesota during the COVID China kill virus scandal. He put up a tip line so you could fink on your neighbors if you're going outside without a mask. He quarantined people. He put tampons in the boys' room. Oh my God! I can't. I wonder whether CBS is going to act responsibly. And I'm sure the answer is no. But J.D. Vance, and again, the point he needs to make on this, and just very briefly, and I'll leave it alone for the time being, the point he's got to make is that False Walsh actually should have been proud of his service in the Army National Guard, period. He served his country for more than 20 years in the Army National Guard, and that's all you had to say. I did that, and I had meetings and went to summer camps and did all the stuff you do, and boy, I'm proud of my service in the National Guard. They wouldn't have had anything to say about it. But he got caught being a liar and a chicken yellow-bellied coward, and if Vance doesn't call him on it, somebody better. I mean, honestly, he's a freaking disgrace. All right, 5:46 already. Kevin Pete Fly. We still have Pete's tweets. Let's do Pete's tweets coming back. Can we do Pete's tweets? We'll do Pete's tweets next. Coming back. I'm Flounder's Funny coming back, and it's excellent stuff. And go Braves! They're in Game 2. We'll see. Kevin Pete and Flounder right there.
Politics get heated, but should never become violent. With so many questions about what happens next, trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the latest news and the voices you need during such an uncertain time in America.
There was a story that broke with the Gold Star families because she basically said Donald Trump was politicizing laying the wreath at Arlington Cemetery, and the Gold Star families have decided they've had enough. There's no way you can walk up to the tomb of the unknown soldier and have anything but reverence for what's being done. When you see those soldiers standing there in driving rain or in snow and they're told to leave their post and they're like, I will not, because I have so much reverence for the people that this tomb represents. And then you have a political party in the Democrats who don't even show up. Until you show up, shut up.
Proud to be Atlanta's conservative news and talk station. Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Shooting drills. A coach who knows the game can teach their team how to improve, but one who genuinely cares about each player.
You have what it takes. We got this.
Can inspire them to win. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Because when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Start feeling unstoppable. Visit truist.com/care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
While fall temperatures are cooling down, the action in the stadium and on the field is really heating up. If you find yourself in hot water from too much celebrating during the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we handle bonds from the Battery to the Bends, and even for those who celebrate action between the hedges. At A Second Chance, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
When it rains, it pours. It's not a matter of if it's going to storm, it's when. Hi, this is Candace with Excavations, and have I got a tip for you? There are only a few things you can be certain of living in Georgia. The weather is absolutely uncertain. Storms are coming, and with that, the storm chasers blew in. You know, the ones that show up, canvass your neighborhood for a free inspection, make deals that are too good to be true, tell you all the neighbors are doing it, and then once they're done, they're gone like the wind. Everyone says they offer a lifetime warranty, but it only lasts as long as the company's in town. At Excavations, we will install your roof on time, on budget, and without all that stress that you usually hear about in construction, which means we stand behind our warranties. We provide you with written documentation, and we will be here to weather the next storm. So let it rain. We've got you covered. Visit Excavations.com to schedule your free consultation today.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at OurRealSuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Atlanta? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Atlanta for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Atlanta is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Atlanta and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
My fellow Americans, our yards are in troubled times. Unwanted weeds are crossing fence lines across our great nation, and we need to put a stop to it. No more college football Saturdays spent mowing the lawn. No, sir. Let's turf it with ultra-premium artificial grass from ATL Turf Co. They're Atlanta and North Georgia's first choice for premium turf solutions, from incredible lawns to custom putting greens. Let's make your yard great again with a free consultation at atlturfco.com.
Hello, Atlanta. It's Mark from the Safe House. And now a quote from Vice President Kamala Harris.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What did she just say? Well, I think what she really means is come down to Atlanta Safe House and purchase a quality safe so you can be unburdened from protecting your valuables. And remember, don't let a crackhead or an illegal that Kamala, the borders are, let into our country deliver or move your safe. And one more thing, gun safes are sales tax-free at Atlanta Safe House. So drop by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
Making the boys. Dun, dun, dun. Uh, 1965, Stones at the Gaumont Theatre in Hanley, Staffordshire, British England area. Also on the bill, Moody Blues, Spencer Davis, and In the Habits. Bill Wyman produced singles in the debut album of The End for Decca Records on this day in 1965. Some leftover birthdays here. Monica Bellucci, 60, the Italian beauty, one of the Bond girls in Spectre. She was Persephone? Would that be
Persephone?
Persephone in Matrix, and posed nude, pregnant for Vanity Fair. Monica Bellucci, 60. Eric Stoltz, the Rocky Dennis boy with a massive facial deformity and mask, and was in a Battlestar Galactica. Eric Stoltz is 63. Marty Stewart, the country singer and songwriter, 66. Let's see, one more that you may know. Oh, Tony Hale played Gary on Veep and Buster on Arrested Development. Very funny character actor. I don't know anything about him personally, but Tony Hale is 54. Very, very clever guy. And on this day in 1955, Pete Davis, it was on this day, 24-year-old James Dean in Cholami, California, when the Porsche he was driving hits a Ford two-door sedan. One of Dean's movies, East of Eden, had been released at the time of his death. Only one of them released without a cause, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant opened shortly afterward. The driver of the other car was a Polytech State University student named Donald Turnipseed. He was mostly uninjured. Dean's passenger, the German Porsche mechanic, was badly hurt but lived. James Dean loved racing cars. He bought his brand new $7,000 Porsche. It was a Spider convertible on the way to a race in Salinas near San Francisco. Witnesses said Dean had not been speeding at the time of the action, but Turnipseed had made a left turn right in front of Dean's Porsche. Some people pointed out that he must have been driving fast because he got a speeding ticket in Bakersfield, 84 miles from the crash scene at 3:30 in the afternoon, and this was 2 hours later, so he was moving. He'd stopped for a Coke, and the glare from the setting sun may have been impossible for Turnipseed to see the Porsche coming up no matter how fast it was going. James Dean had nicknamed his car the Little Bastard, and it was cursed. After the accident that killed James Dean, the car rolled off the back of the truck and crushed the legs of a mechanic standing nearby. A used car dealer sold all its parts to buyers all over the country, and strange incidents multiplied. The death car's engine, transmission, and tires were all transplanted into cars that were all subsequently involved in deadly crashes. A truck carrying the Spider's chassis to a highway safety exhibition skidded off the road, killing the driver. The remains of the car vanished from the scene of the accident and have not been seen since. One more thing. Whirlwick, the feeling of guilt of the mechanic guy, feelings of guilt after the car accident never abated, tried to kill himself twice in the 60s. In 1967, the German mechanic stabbed his wife 14 times with a kitchen knife in a failed murder-suicide, and then he finally did die in a drunk driving accident in 1981. Turnipseed, the other driver that hit the James Dean car, died of lung cancer in 1995. Holy smokes.
He showed the car to Alec Guinness the week before, and Guinness took one look at it and said, "You need to sell this. You're going to die in that. That thing's going to kill you." He had a bad feeling about it as soon as he saw the car. And if that cop hadn't pulled him over for a ticket,
he wouldn't have had to race to get to the yeah. Good Lord. And again, it was in 1955. The Porsche Spider cost $7,000, so kind of a racing Porsche. That's what those guys say. Anyway, 5:57. Holy cow! Braves update, Flounder. You got a game on in there. I don't know whether Peek and see where you are.
1-0. Still 1-0. Yes.
What inning are we in?
I believe it's the 5th. They just went to commercials. So.
Oh, okay. Again, the Braves lost the first game. They blew the first game. I mean, God.
You want me mad? You want me mad and depressed because when I'm happy and confident, they lose. When I'm mad and angry at them, they win. So you want me mad and angry.
Yeah. And either way, we're going to be happy. I mean, the Braves have really pulled out a remarkable season given what they went through. I mean, you can't.
Great year.
You really can't feel anything but saluting them for what they've done.
But the Mets cannot go on and win the World Series, or we'll never hear the end
we'll
of it.
never hear it. By the way, North Carolina, apparently some famous mountain villages like you were mentioning Chimney Rock. At Chimney Rock State Park, home to the picturesque Lake Lure. Apparently, a guy who owns a home on the lake says the community's been devastated. A lot of folks have venched out to living catering to tourism, and apparently it's gone, washed away. Every bit of it washed away into the lake. Roads are washed out. No electricity. Worst weather we've ever seen. Chimney Rock is gone.
The Rainbow Bridge is gone, too. It was a famous place to take dog and cat leashes to remember them and put them on the bridge, and it's gone.
Wow. Again, storm. 5:58, one last Flounder's Funny, if you will, sir, if you don't mind.
I've become clumsy in my old age. Anybody ever drop their phone in the toilet? There you go. I did, and after I did, I put my phone in a bag of rice. Anybody ever drop a bag of rice in the toilet? I took a quiz on Facebook called "What's Your Spirit Animal?" I got extinct. I had a colonoscopy, and when it was over, they said, "We'll see you in 10 years." And I thought, "The f*** you will."
How was that, Flounder?
Mr. Andy Huggins.
We played him last week. A very funny old guy. Very, very funny guy. Anyway, Pete Davidson, Flounder, go Braves, and hoorah. Tomorrow we do it all over again. It's over the Kimmer. I gotta go. You're killing me. Christine, sing me home, baby. Well, hoorah, look out. Herp and herp. Here, stand by.
The Morning Extra from 6 to 10 a.m. and The Kimmer Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Only on WFOM and W292EV Marietta. Extra 106.3 FM.